Stupid. It's clear now, and we are live from
Looks like we're live.
my basement, and Mike's not basement, but amazing looking game room.
I mean, it's a green screen. It's not. It's all. It's
It
not.
could have all the games that are on my list in that room.
It's possible. Oh, the buffering. All right, so I'm starting it off. Not drinking every time Tim buffers. It's not happening tonight. Too important of a day tomorrow, so that is not going to happen because this bottle will be gone way too quickly.
Dude, it's killing me tonight. It is killing me tonight. So
Dude,
just
30 seconds in, I love it.
Oh my gosh. Just so y'all know, we have a late start because my daughter had a little show at her school. So I had to go and cheer her on with her whole 5th grade class. It was super fun and very cute. And we have upgraded mics, as you can see, because Mr. Rice is at a work function.
It's not an upgrade. It's not an upgrade. Mike is definitely better. The other Mike is definitely better at doing the board game rundown side of things. So
yeah, oh yeah, far superior at that. Far superior at that. But yeah, so we didn't even do the proper intro because I was so thrown off by trying to make the damn banners work the right way. You know, that whole intro video. So I'm Tim.
I'm Mike.
There we go. He had to think about it, but he knows who he is. And then, yes, we have Andrew with us as always. With us as always is Garth. Tonight, man, I'm excited about this list. We have top 10 games we must play ASAP. These are new, old, whatever, shelf of shame. Maybe you just haven't had a chance to get your hands on them yet. Maybe own it. I haven't been able to get it to the table, but top 10 games we want to play right away. If we could do it tomorrow, if QSCon was tomorrow and we were all there, we just each show up with our stack.
Oh man, this is going to be good. This is going to be good stuff. Yeah. So one of the things we talked about, and when Tim comes back, we can begin talking about it. Was the calling it the shelf of shame. What do you call it, Tim?
A shelf of opportunity.
Shelf of opportunity. Is that what you legit call it? You call it shelf of opportunity?
I used to call it a shelf of shame, and then I got shamed into calling it a shelf of opportunity.
The irony of ironies.
Right? Oh, man.
No, Dave, I'm not drinking every time Tim buffers. Oh, I can't click on stuff. Oh, this is fun. I don't have to do anything on that side of the screen. This is great. Cheers. Oh, he's buffering. Oh, that was perfect timing. Shelf of debt. I like that, Chris. That's a good one.
The shelf of debt? Oh, damn, Chris. That is money.
Actually, Jason's more spot on. A storage unit of opportunity. Although, running QSCon, a lot of my about a third of my collection actually does go to the convention on the rack, so it is available for people to play. I don't know how many of them actually come off the shelf and get played, but it does help the game's life to be available, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's shelves of shame for me. I can look and I see, I don't know, more games that I can count quickly that I need to play that I own just across, and that's not counting stuff behind me. So
this could very easily be a top 100.
Oh, dude.
Part one.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah,
no doubt. Real quick though, for anybody paying attention, we did not announce our winner for Ready Set Bet yet. We are going to do that tomorrow. Sometimes life gets in the way, and we didn't do it last night. I had some sick kiddos, and they're all on the mend. Everything's great, but
good.
Yeah, so we are doing that. We're gonna do that live announcement. Mike and I will tomorrow. Rice.
Is that what Mike said in the chat to remember to say something?
Yeah. So congratulations to Paul from Gem Time Games. He won an Ion Award for his game. Oh gosh, I'm a terrible friend because I don't remember the name. Let me see. Where you at, Paul? I'm trying to look in the Discord real quick and see. But yeah, I say friend of the show. We got, we just have a buddy that I don't know him personally, but he participates all the time. He's in there talking to us and, in the Discord and everything. And yeah, his game won an award at SaltCon, I believe.
Oh, nice.
And Gempire, there it is. Mike's helping me out.
Isn't he at dinner?
Is he
you
what?
paying attention at dinner, Mike? Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah. He's drinking margaritas and one eye watching us to make sure I don't screw it up so
Sure,
bad.
sure. Love
And
it.
and
Anyway.
yeah, Dan is right. Everybody that is watching right now, please hit that thumbs up, even if you're or a thumbs down if you're like, why in the hell is this guy buffering so much? That's fine. I can live with that. But yeah.
Yeah, perfect timing. It's amazing the timing. I swear he does it on purpose. I think there's a button on the other side of the screen that he pushes, and that's whenever the timing is right, he's just hitting it. That's hysterical.
Mike, I got to tell you, I buffered twice last week. The whole 2 hours we on, I buffered twice. I'm already at like 3 times today. It's
Yeah,
terrible.
you didn't buffer once while I was watching last week at all.
It was so smooth. It was so smooth.
You on the right? I think you were on the right.
Maybe that's what's screwing it up. I don't know how to move myself. Oh, did that do it?
There you go.
Look at that. I like Thanos snapped that into reality.
Good.
But yeah, also, I forget who was that. Andrew. Yeah, we do have a Patreon. If you feel like contributing to the show, buying me a bigger hamster to run on my internet wheel, please feel free to go over there. But honestly, even just you guys being here, commenting, like I said, you hit that thumbs up. We'd take a sub too. If you want to subscribe, feel like doing that, we won't turn you away. And really, you got to go over and check out Full 42 as well. That's where we stole Mike from. Next week we're gonna have Katya on finally.
Cool.
She's gonna come over and hang out with us. We got to pick a topic to go with her, but our show is gonna get a lot prettier next week than it normally is. But she's an amazing person, incredible artist. I'm gonna bother her so much about like her process and like how she does all that stuff. There she is. So she's gonna be on next week. So you got to check that out. It's going to be very cool. And if you are not familiar with her work, Katya, please share a link in the chat. Like, throw a link up so that people can see what you do, and just stare in stupefaction at how cool it looks.
There's an example right there of what she does.
Yeah, dude. QSCon, that like you got the inside track there though. So. Yeah, Dave, there's cake at the end. If you make it all the way to the end, Mike will give you cake.
I was going to offer Dave chicken tacos, not cake.
Okay. Is that a thing?
He knows what I'm talking about.
You got it then. All right. I'm not going to step on that, but
he had a fight with some chicken tacos a couple weeks ago. It wasn't a good thing.
never try to fight the fight with food, poultry especially. Look at that. Too soon. So good. And yeah, David, I guess links are allowed. Why? What links are you sharing? I mean, you maybe I'll say tentatively yes until y'all make me regret it.
Don't say that because that's a challenge to the group, Tim. Like that's not.
No doubt. The real reason Mike's here is to talk about the worst Star Wars characters ever and why Anakin Skywalker.
I mean, you can't buffer at that moment. Like shit. I wouldn't say Anakin's the worst ever. I mean, until we get into episode 7. It's basically the life and death of Anakin Skywalker. Like that's the first 6 movies are like we meet Anakin as a boy, and then we like spoiler, we watch him die. Like that's the 6 episodes.
So my joke was why talk about the worst Star Wars characters and why is it Anakin Skywalker? But I got buffered by the dark side. No, I just wanted to be a smartass. I was just trying to say something inflammatory.
Gotcha. It worked. No, it was a perfect. It was.
I got you riled up. a little bit.
Well, I mean, he's a whiny little bitch in 2 and 3, but it's about him. The story, there's the side characters, right? The Skywalker saga. Like I get it. It's not Luke, really. It's about Anakin. You watch him get manipulated by everybody around him and people he trusts and people he loves, and it's a great. Although the writing was very bad in the beginning, it's crucial to the story. There's important stuff, regardless of the trade embargoes and the Federation blockades and all the stuff that was meant to bring in new kids to the series. Like it's important stuff. Those original ones, prequels, not originals.
Yeah, the problem with the prequels, honestly, is that George Lucas didn't have anybody telling him no. Like,
No.
just where to cut, where to edit, where to trim, where to flourish, maybe dig a little deeper. And that's why the original trilogy was so rich and good, is he had other collaborators to help rein him in. I think it was Chris that said on your show, like, great universe creator, terrible writer. And I buy into that. I feel like that nails it. And
for sure.
And I also get, because I'm that kind of guy, even though I don't love Jar Jar, like, I also get him leaning into Jar Jar as sort of like a, no, this is my character, and you all are going to watch him on every movie from now on.
I don't get Jar Jar. I don't understand.
I think it's terrible, but I think Lucas got all the vitriol and just doubled down. He's like, hey, that's what we're doing.
Sure, and he created a whole underwater city of these people. Yep, with this weird boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jesus, boss Nast, poor guy. I mean, Captain Tarpals was definitely one of my, of all of them. You only really meet, what, 2 or 3 of them, I guess.
No. All right. I think we have gotten all business out of the way. I got a little bit of nerdy Star Wars stuff just to wet my whistle.
Yeah, if we didn't want to chase away some viewers, I would talk about today's episode of Mandalorian. But
you know what? It made 2 episodes ago pay off today. You know what I mean? Like, there was that big sidetrack that's on Coruscant. There's an episode that's 40% of it, or no, like 40 minutes of the 50-minute runtime or whatever is on Coruscant. And to me today really made that episode pay off. I enjoyed that episode just because I enjoyed seeing some more lore and some story. But I think that, like, oh, okay. Now I see the direction of that.
Yeah, they're clearly setting up. They're setting up stuff. They're setting up future. Yeah, you know what's going on, right?
Yeah.
And they're trying. Maybe they'll retcon some stuff. I don't know how it'll work, but they're definitely setting up. They're setting up the storylines from the sequels a little easier, making it more palatable,
palpatinable.
There you go. That'll work. But yeah, I would get me going on Star Wars, man. You want to talk about derailing a show? I'll talk about Star Wars constantly, especially the past couple episodes. I don't know if it made, to Tim's point, I don't know if it made that episode pay off today, but it's definitely helping support that episode, seeing where things are kind of going, for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited for it, man. I'm excited. It's good stuff.
It's heading important.
They're important. They just were not well edited, I think was Dan's. That was what Dan was saying, is that,
for sure,
is that they were not edited well.
Or written. So, I mean, the writing was shit too, and for sure that's a major problem. But there's still important stuff in there.
Yeah, like midichlorians. Oh wait, sorry.
Do we mention the M word? They don't even mention the M word anymore. They call it M now.
Yeah. All right. So, Mike, what did you have parameters setting up your list?
No.
Anything in particular? Any rules?
Not in particular, but there's games. It's kind of all over the place. There's games that have stuck with me since they've come out that I've either brought with me the game nights or have had around me and just haven't gotten to the table. And there are games that Kickstarter, 1, 2 Kickstarters that I just haven't been able to play that I want to. There's games that have won awards that I just haven't been able to play. But really what I did was start looking at my shelves, and like, if I had to go to your house right now and we were going to play only games we haven't played yet that are on our radar for some reason, what would I pack my bags with? And this is what came up.
There you go, man. Right on. Yeah, I've got a few that I do not own, but it's like, man, I really want to play. Like, the more I've learned about these games, the more I'm like, okay. Because they were games maybe even that I was peripherally aware of, and they were kind of on my radar. And then you start to see it pop up in other places, and you're like, dang it. Like, why? Why have I not played that yet?
Yeah.
Some I own, some I do not. And yeah, there's a few that are like, there's a Grail game on here for me. It's a game that I saw played at a con. I was like, I want this game. And at the time it was out of print. It came back into print, and I still just haven't landed a copy of it yet. But I haven't seen it in my FLGS. So it's not like, and it's also not necessarily like the most famous or widely known game. It's not like some big Z-Man title that just never gets a reprint, kind of thing. This, but
Interesting.
but I'll
I have
save
a
that.
Grail online too. I feel bad that I own it because I've seen a lot of people talk about wanting to get it, and I just haven't had the opportunity to play it yet.
And you're just Smaug, just sitting on your hoard of games and not letting anybody play them.
It's a curse, man. It's just a curse.
Yeah, Dan, Dune is definitely an honorable mention, but
Dune's good.
not on the list because I've technically kind of played it like ages ago, but it's definitely on the honorable mention because that is a game that Dan and I like. Dan has gotten to play it. I have been obsessed with Dune since high school, just as a nerd reading science fiction.
Sure. There it is. Nerds reading science fiction. Yeah, Dune's good. Dune, Imperium, I assume you're talking about, not the other one that Gale Force 9 recently redid, or the 70s version.
The Dune, yeah.
Yeah, because they did a Dune. They did a Dune. Gale Force 9 had a Dune game come out, but it wasn't Imperium. It was something else.
Yeah, I can't even think of it right now. But yeah, not that one. And then they actually did Dune proper. Right. And then yes, I even own and haven't played the Twilight Imperium retheme of Dune Rex.
Oh yeah, by Fantasy Flight. Yeah.
Own it. Have not played it. And no, my spice ain't flowing tonight for some reason. And Jason, I got to play Dogs of War, and I really liked it. My friend Jason from Board Game Mechanics has it. I played his copy. But that's a really good CMON. I believe that's a CMON game. Yeah. It's got some pretty good. It's got some really good components, and then it's got this really interesting like tug of war mechanic. So, but yeah, Dogs of War really good. But so Mike, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first with your number 10? You're a list purist like me. We just kind of throw them out as we throw them out, and it's going to drive Dan nuts, and I don't care. Yep. So it's our show, right?
Yeah, mine are never in a list, and I'll actually adjust based on what other people will say. And like, oh, well, you said this, I'm going to bring this on because they kind of go together. Yeah, I don't care. You lead, I lead, whatever you want to do.
That's right. I'll go first. I'll just set the tone, I guess. This one is the newest one on my list. It's a game I'm seeing everywhere because everybody's getting their Kickstarter versions of it. We just talked about it in an episode that's going to be coming out soon with like amazing box art. So we did a top 10 like box art that blew us away, and that game is Earth. I don't really know much about Earth, but god dang, that game looks beautiful. The box cover looks amazing. We talked about like the font of the title just like really grabs you, and I'm seeing all over social media and everything, right? Facebook, Discord, Twitter, everybody's playing this game, and I haven't really heard anything bad about it, and just sounds really cool, looks really cool. It's my number 10. It was like the first one I thought of where it's like, dang, I really want to play that game. Like, I really want to play that game. So
it looks solid. I mean, Connor's great. Inside Up makes, as far as I know, they haven't made a clunker yet in my book. It's on my table.
Oh, you got it? What else
I do. It's on my table. It just got delivered. I think why you see it so much is it's just delivering from Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm.
I know they had it last weekend, and I guess the deluxe version came with that sweet wooden insert to put all the stuff in.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I didn't back it at that level because who knew? But yeah, I think you're seeing it a lot now because again, cult of the new, right? It's new. People want to get it out there. People want to get the feedback from it.
For sure. It's working. It's working.
Sure. Yeah, of course. yeah.
Top $10 part that blew me away. I can dig it.
That's good. Yeah, good pick.
Thank you. What's the first game you're going to talk about in no particular order?
Yeah, I like that you said it's the newest one on your list. I'm thinking I might go with the oldest one on my list.
Mm.
I don't know. Yeah, I'll do that. So it's one that Katia brings up a lot on the show that I've yet to play, and it's one of her favorite games. It's Voluspa. It's an
Okay.
older stronghold game
Mhm.
that she raves about, but I haven't had a chance to get it. I brought it last weekend and in hopes of playing it, and again it fell short. But I've heard nothing but good things about it. Even when I first acquired it when I was new, like it's an older game. I forget the year, but it's an older game. But I've never heard a bad thing about it.
Right. Right. Yeah, I've heard of it. I'm familiar with it. I can picture the box, but I
Yeah.
just, and you know what sucks is sometimes games like that, especially nowadays, you almost have to like just sit down, set it up, and then be like, who's playing this with me?
Right.
And then people will go, oh, okay. Because
Yeah.
if they haven't heard of it, right? Like Earth, you could probably people be like, oh, I've been seeing that. What's that like? And then you'll be like, oh, great, let's play it. But
Yeah.
an older title, not always the easiest thing. And so I've definitely done that either at like a game night or a meetup or something.
Yeah.
And just been like, hey man, I'm playing this game. Give me some players. Let's do
Yeah.
it. And most people will agree with you. So
It also depends on who you're around too, because especially lately with the boom of modern board games, there are a lot of people. Like I last week at QSCon Tuesday, we had 44 people, and
mhm.
7 of them were new, like first time to the
Nice.
bar. Right. This week we had 37, and there were like I think 5 people that I hadn't seen there before. And they're just finding board games. So like when you pop out something from which seems ages ago now, right? But
Right.
2018 and you're like, oh, this game came out 5 years ago. It might not be on anybody's radar because they just recently found the hobby since the pandemic, and like now they're finding this analog world of awesomeness. So like
Yeah.
being able to bring them to the table, like you said, like put it up and who wants to play. One of the things I do at QSCon that I stole from Dice Tower Con that Patrick did at his convention were players wanted and teachers wanted
Oh
towers.
yeah, I've seen those at Geekway. Yeah, it's
They're
super
great.
smart.
We got little meeple cutouts. They're orange and blue because of orange and blue. And
Mhm.
there's teachers wanted and players wanted. And you put it on, it's got a flag and it's got the thing on it. And it's like, hey, I need somebody to teach us, or you're trying to read a
Mhm.
rule book. And one of the things, why we clicked immediately, the board game hobby and the majority of the people that are in the board game industry are genuine humans that want to just
Yeah.
foster the
Yeah.
community and invite you in. And it's one of those mediums that works. So having
Yes.
a flag there, oh, I'll teach it to you. Like, no, like I'll see it pop up and I know it's like Dice Miner and I can
Right.
teach it in under like what, 3 minutes?
Right.
So like, oh, let
Right.
me take its turn. Like, let me just go teach this and I'll be back. And those things, they make such an impact.
Yeah, it's funny because there was a time I very specifically remember I was at a Geekway to the West in St. Louis one year, and I was like literally running to the restroom. My friends were setting up a game, and on my way back, somebody had a flag teacher wanted, and it was for Cthulhu Wars. And I'm like, oh shit, like I gotta stop. So because it's one of my all-time favorite games. So I'm like, okay, so whose game is this? Like, oh, okay, it's your game. If you looked at the rules and then like figured out where they were in the process, and then was like boom, 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 boom. I mean, that's a
Yeah.
game I taught at Gen Con, same convention. I also there were people sitting behind us playing Blood Rage, and they for the first time. So this was probably 2017, whatever, bunch of years ago. And
Yeah.
again, they were like, "Oh, we don't know how to play this and that." I'm like, "Okay, look, I ran them through the rules, and I'm like, I'm sitting right behind you playing this game. I know how to play this game. So if you need help, just tap me on the shoulder. I'm happy to come over and help you. Like I can do both."
Right.
And
Right.
yeah, man, I just love it. Like I would have loved to have sat down and played with both of those groups.
Sure.
Had I the opportunity, but I was just happy to teach it because it's like we say, just share your love of the industry, the hobby, and just get it going. I got to go back to Jason. Jason, I would take you up on that, but I'm supposed to be going to a Cubs game on Saturday. If it doesn't get rain/snowed out because it's Chicago in April, and that's what happens. And
Yeah, we
Katya,
just had white squalls. I had to go to I have tomorrow's ridiculous, but I was gonna go and get something from the storage unit today, and there's like white squalls coming through, and like you can't see, and it's like icy and shitty out. Like, where did this? It was 55 degrees today,
yeah,
and now the
yeah,
ground's covered with snow. What the? Come on.
Yeah. You get that lake effect like we do. It's just a different lake.
Yep.
And worse,
which is great.
to be
Like
honest.
I go downstate. Downstate snow, 3 inches would close school, and it would be a fucking mess. But
Yeah.
up here, we'll get 18 inches, and it's all like powder and fluff. It's like nothing.
Yeah, you just right through it.
Yep.
But so I don't know if Kadia's played Blood Rage or not, but trust me, if we're ever in the same con and you want to play Blood Rage, we definitely know people, myself included. Mike loves Blood Rage. Like there's a ton of us that would play Blood Rage with you. I would say though that if you play it for your first time, that is a game you either need to play with somebody who knows how to like rein it in a little bit, just so you can get brutalized in your first game with Blood Rage, and that could really color your experience. I'm not saying that, let you win, but I'm just saying like allow you to be competitive because you can take advantage of new players.
Terraforming Mars too. It's playing Terraforming Mars with someone who knows Terraforming Mars.
Oh God, yeah.
You're gonna get stomped.
Yeah. So yeah, Katya, we can make that happen at Origins or Gen Con this year for sure if you're there and or willing. Because yeah, there's a whole slew of us that will play that in a heartbeat, and I know a bunch of guys that aren't assholes that would play it, and just make sure that you at least had a good experience. All right, let's get into our next game, our number 9. I'm not doing all the cool things that Mike does where he pops up the number and it goes across because I don't want to steal Mike's thunder by accidentally doing it better than he does. And also, I don't want to incur the wrath of my internet by messing with my phone at this point because I'm on a good roll, which means I'm going to buffer right about now.
Could you imagine? Oh my God, if that
Dude,
happened.
that would have been amazing.
Yeah, it would have been good.
I just would have gone and bought a lottery ticket, to be honest.
You didn't hit the button. You didn't reach behind the thing and hit the button.
Yeah. The buffer button. So my number 9 has been on my shelf for ages. I traded my buddy Bob for his copy, which was still in shrink. And spoiler alert, it's still in shrink. I love skirmish games. I don't always have a ton of people to play with skirmish games. I don't have near the time I used to have to like play skirmish games, but I have God tier. I have everything from the first Kickstarter. Looks cool, amazing minis. Seems like it's got a really good community around it. Like I follow like a God tier Discord just in case I accidentally learn how to play it one day and then I can contribute. But
accidentally.
Yeah.
Hey, I learned it.
Whoops. But yeah, man, God tier looks super good. I can't wait to play it. It'll happen one day. It's on my shelf. I won't get rid of it till I play it once. If I play it once and then it's junk, I'll be like, okay, who wants it? But until then, I won't play it.
The problem is with all the games that keep coming out every year, I don't think there's enough time left on this earth to play all of the games. Even if I stopped collecting right now, I don't think there's enough time for me personally to play through all of the games. Like if I bought no other games from now on, I still don't think I could do it.
See, and you say that, and it's like, I just got my shipping notification for Raw. I got my shipping notification for my DC deck builder stuff that's coming from their Kickstarter from last year. Cause that's a game that I don't care. I love. I just got like an email for like another review game that we're going to get. And it's like, okay, like, I mean, believe me, it's an amazing problem to have, right, Mike? I mean, I wouldn't, of all the problems you could have in the world, give me too many games and not enough time. Like
100%.
Because and David, I don't remember what tier it was. You can ask Bob. Bob, are you in the chat? Bob, what tier or God tier did you back? Because it was his copy that I now have.
Yeah, but you're right. It's very privileged to be in the position to be like, I don't have enough time to play all these cool games. Like,
yeah, yeah. There's literally been times where I have taken like a vacation day, like from work, and had my other buddies take a day, and we would basically start from the time that I should go to work, and then play games all day until it's like, okay, I got to go get my kids.
Right.
And it's just to play shit that like I haven't played yet or want to play or need to get to the table just because.
Right.
It's like, and I love those days. I actually need to do one of those days again just because I've been working a lot lately. Work's been crazy. We have been without a manager at my job for 3 months now, and I've been doing that job. I may eventually have that job, but for right now, I've just been carrying it. So
was that the thing today?
That was the thing today, which was, it's like, oh, finally. But
nice.
Again, good problem to have. Good problem
Sure,
to have. The store hasn't burned down in 3 months. We're doing good.
It's a much better problem to have than your screen freezing and you buffering all the time. Oh, it happened.
Right. Yeah. I need to be a better mime because they'd be really good at being still.
It's like I'm doing a slideshow of my time with Tim.
Yeah.
It's just okay. Next slide. And this is where Tim lost his mind at this game, and here's the next slide. Oh my God.
Right. I just start holding up pieces of paper with my title on it every time I buffer, and then you can just see it, and you can be like, "Oh, I've heard of that. Cold on that. No, that sounds good."
I'll just hold up cards like this and be like, "Nope."
Exactly. All right, man. What's your next game?
Oh yeah, games. What did you do? All right, you went with.
Oh, I did 9. I did God's Ear. Yep.
All right, so that's a big game. I don't have anything that's that big, so I'll pivot. So this is a Kickstarter. Oh, this will go with your Kickstarter then. That's great.
Okay, cool.
This was a Kickstarter from a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years. And one of the pledge levels actually had you sponsor. You could sponsor a car. And every game came with a sticker sheet, and you could use those stickers on your car. And it's the game is Thunder Rolls.
Oh, I've heard of it. I've heard of Thunder Rolls. Yeah.
Every copy of Thunder Rolls has a set of stickers for the full 42 that you can put on your car, and you can have a full 42 car in the game.
Oh, dude.
As soon as it went, and it's Richard Lanius, so of course, right? So he's like, yeah, the Kickstarter is going to do whatever. And we were talking about something else. And I'm like, okay, I need to be there. And he's like, yeah, I think he's going to do these sponsor things. So you can sponsor like a pit crew. You can sponsor the car. So as soon as day one hit, the level was there. And I'm like, I'm in. I want it. I want to do the thing.
Dude,
and so every copy comes. But I haven't played the game yet. Like I saw, he and I talked about it. And I actually I was trying to bring it to a different company, but it didn't fit their scope. So I knew about it before it was going to the company it landed with, which is Mr. B, I think. But yeah, I knew how it played because I went over it with him. Like, how does it play so I can tell the team kind of thing. But I've never actually played the game. So we have a full 42 stickers in the game to put on the cars, and I haven't been able to play it.
Oh, dude, that's amazing. That's so cool. That's so cool. That's
pretty neat.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna for my next one then. I'm gonna segue very well into this. So good luck with your next one. So a game that just came out late last year. As far as I know, Mike loves this game. Not you, Mike. Mike Rice, my normal co-host. Mike loves this game. And Mike, you fooled me for a second. You held still. I was like, "Am I buffering? Am I buffering?"
No, I was writing. I'm writing on my list my numbers.
No, you're good. You're good, man. But my number 8 is Heat, Pedal to the Metal.
Okay.
Full disclosure, I'm a sports fan. I am not a racing fan, but I do love Thunder Alley. Like, that is a really good racing game. And I don't. Yeah. You don't like it?
The only GMT game I really like is Battle Line, and I know it's not a typical GMT game, but those seem so much heavier for my mind to play games. They just don't seem they never nothing. Maybe Dominant Species one day.
Oh yeah,
I never wanted to get into a GMT game.
I was like, what are some other GMT games? But yeah, my sister taught me Thunder Alley, and I was like, holy shit, this game's so much fun. And I don't like racing, but like NASCAR, I get it. Like, people love it. I've been to a NASCAR race. It was fun while I was there, but I couldn't watch it on TV. But man, I love Thunder Alley. And then Heat came out. Everybody's talking to Heat so much. And look, the puns are strong and the jokes are here. But yeah, I'm excited to play it. There's a copy in my game group, so I have access to it. I know Mike will teach it to me sometime, but
nice.
Oh, dang. Thunder Alley Leagues.
That's cool.
Holy crap. That's super cool. And that's the kind of stuff, right, that you can take with a game, with a board game, right? Like it's so innocuous. Oh, hey, Thunder Alley's right there.
Yeah.
That red and blue one.
Red and blue.
And then somebody does leagues. I tried really hard, couldn't get off the ground. I was trying to get a Chaos Ball tournament going. Because that's a game I like. I had everything for it. I just kind of wanted to play it.
Yeah.
And I was like, screw it. What better way to try to play it than to just set up a Chaos Ball league and then get everybody to, I was like, hell, I'll teach you. Like, just, it's not that hard to learn. It's pretty straightforward. And we played a few games, but it never really like got going. I think COVID actually happened and kind of like shot everything in the ass as far as that goes. Because we were hosting pretty sizable meetups on the regular, and we actually would have it at like a hotel like conference room. They would give us the conference room for the whole day. Nice. And so and then COVID. So, but yeah,
it's shit on so many. I it's not a good thing, and you don't want to try and like make light of it. But if not for it, I would have never met Chris.
Sure.
That's how that whole thing happened. So I mean, there are silver linings in the whole thing, but there's in the game industry. There's also a lot of games that, and we touched upon a little bit on Monday.
Yeah,
there are a lot of games that never got that, like Batman with IDW and how it missed 2018 and 2019 is just shite. But there were some games that were coming out right around then that just never caught because they didn't have that moment, right? They didn't have that con release.
And I thought that was a really interesting aspect of your guys' list on Monday, to be honest, because when I was watching and it's like, okay, so what are the games that were killed by COVID? Like I literally like had that mindset because yes, there are some games that are just older, right? Or maybe something else came out really big at the time. Like if it came out at the same week as Gloomhaven, sorry about you, but yeah, you're right. I mean, COVID, positively or negatively, definitely had this huge, crazy impact on the whole. I mean, not just the whole world, right, but the industry, right, and everything, and how we do things. But it is really nice to see everybody sort of adapt, update, how we do things. But then now, the world is bouncing back faster than I had thought it would, and I'm really glad for that. I'm really glad. I'm really glad that there's conventions and we can go and play games and and hang out and do stuff. So.
Yep. And we have ways that if we can't get together, that you can still get together and play games, even though it's not in person, or you're not going to conventions, or you're not going to this convention because they're doing this thing. Whatever the reason is, there are ways.
Well, this wouldn't be as easy pre-COVID because they weren't forced to make the technology better, right?
For sure, it's definitely evolved quickly, rapidly over the past couple of years.
Yeah, necessity, right? Necessity breeds invention.
But like we wouldn't have mission control if it wasn't for the lockdown, like the pandemic.
Oh, really?
And Donnie, so the local company had a contest, and it was the rules of the contest was the game you submit had to be fully remote. You had to be fully remote. So they submitted that to the company, and then when I got this job, it was like, I have this. What do you guys think about this? And they were like, no, rolling rights. And I'm like, yeah, but what about this? But if not for that lockdown and that rule set for the submission, would never have seen that game. I don't know if Corey and Johnny had it in the hopper and they were working on a bigger version of it, and it just happened to be like it fit into this realm. But if not for this, then that, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, again, man, sliding doors, right? I mean, and you just gotta take advantage of the opportunities in front of you. That's all you can do. All you can do.
For sure.
So yeah, 8 was Heat for me. It was a racing game. Mike already talked about basically sort of because Thunder Rolls is a racing game.
Yeah, it's NASCAR. It's NASCAR for sure. It's more dice. It's not like Thunder Alley, from what I understand, is more of like a simulator.
Oh yeah. Because you're putting wear and tear on your vehicles. You're drafting. And by drafting, I do not mean like drafting cards. You are drafting. Pulling tracks of cars with you or ditching them. Yeah. It's fantastic. Yeah. Anyways.
All right. So now I have to go off that, huh?
Mm-hmm.
This should be good. All right. Well, I'm gonna slam on the brakes then.
Yeah.
We'll transition that way.
I like it.
And I'm gonna call up Costcom. What?
I think he meant Cuscon's meeple.
Oh
is
yeah,
filled with
well,
some
I mean,
interesting words.
Cuscon's meeple would be filled with some interesting
Oh,
words.
Cuscon's meeple would be
Yeah.
filled with tons of interesting words. I now get it. Yeah.
All right, so we had Thunder Rolls, which was racing. You went into Thunder Alley, which was racing. I really want to do something with Thunder, but I don't have anything. I don't have anything that can go into Thunder. So I'll hard break it. I'm gonna go with Boop.
Oh, Boop. That's with the cat, right? Like the cat.
Yep.
Dude, I see that and it makes me laugh every time. I have no idea what the hell that game is, but I see it and I want to play it. So fair point.
Same thing with me. I'm like, okay, I'm not a big cat fan, and I'm looking at the game going, whatever. But then my ears went up because it was Smirk and Dagger or Smirk and Laughter.
Yeah.
It
used to be Smirk and Dagger, though, right?
Yeah, Smirk and Dagger, Smirk and Laughter. They're heavier stuff or they're lighter stuff. So they got me. I love what they do. I love their stuff, most of it. And then I looked at the back of the box. People were playing it at a QSCon Tuesday. So I learned the rules before I realized it. I was like, oh, it's kind of like this other game. And it's really like, it seems super simple, but the way the mechanisms work and the way that the cats boop at themselves and you're trying to get the kittens to become cats and there's a win condition is like mind melting. Like the way that you're trying to figure out this puzzle. I'm like, oh, it's like Shobu. And I love Shobu. And that's also Smirk and Laughter or Smirk and Dagger. And I love the way that the stones push and you do the one and you do the other. And it's very, very similar in that aspect of puzzle. But other than the theme, which I would not gravitate towards, the puzzle of that game seems absolutely brilliant. And I've again, it's one of those games that I bring with me and I just haven't, I've seen it played. I've stood by the table and watched it played. I just haven't played it myself. And I want to experience that. Wait, how am I going to do this? That moment.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, so the thing is right, the box and the title, that gets my wife in.
Sure.
Right. Everything else after that is gravy because I'm down to play any game at least once, you know, and if I can get her to play a game with me, right, even better.
Sure.
And but yeah, again, I laugh every time I see that damn box cover with the title. So you know, it's cute, right? It's funny. It's
I think it could be a deterrent too because the game is super smart. Like the way that the mechanism, the choices, they're very
more complex than it
doing.
But the game is deeper than it looks, though, right?
Oh, for sure. Because when you place a kitten, it's going to boop the other meeples in its vicinity. So you're pushing them from where you place, but you're trying to get 3 in a row to make a cat, and then you got to get 3 cats in a row. So as you and your opponent are putting stuff down and it's moving all these things, you're like, all I want to do is move this over here. How do I do it? And it's like your mind just wants to explode. And I'm not even playing it. I'm watching it. I'm like, how would they even do that? So I haven't even been in it yet. And I'm like, I need to play this game.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Yep.
So ooh, I got a good segue then for my next
also,
one.
If you haven't played Shobu, have you played Shobu?
I have not.
It's like instant. Like order it. I don't work for the company. Order it, get it. It's got to be on Amazon. It's at your local game store. Grab Shobu. It's fantastic.
SHOBU, right?
SHOBU. Yep.
Yeah. BU. Yeah. I'm down
that's
for
a good one too, Jason. Good pick. Pursuit of Happiness was like, I don't know why it didn't do better. I know it had a second Kickstarter and it had an expansion, or a second edition in a Kickstarter with an expansion. But Pursuit of Happiness is a great game.
And then I have not played that or Calico either. Dumb kitty theme, but complex puzzle. I mean, Calico was like red hot for a few minutes. Everybody was talking about Calico last summer. Like that's like,
well, that whole triumvirate, right? Calico, Cascadia, Verdant, or Verdant, however you pronounce it.
I would have said Verdant, but yeah, I get it. I thought I was let down by Cascadia though, to be honest. I thought it's fine. It's a good game. I just didn't find it satisfying, I guess, when I played it.
Okay.
But that's fine. It's a good game. And I'm glad people like it. You know, like it's one of those things where it's like, I'd sit and play it. I'm not going to crap on it or anything, but I just was like, it's okay. I didn't understand all the love for it, but hey, whatever.
Okay.
Not every game has to be for me. I have to remind myself of that sometimes.
That's true. That's very true.
So my number 7, and I got a good segue for this because all of that brain melting is going to make me really need to have a drink. And the game that is going to be themed for that is going to be Distilled.
I almost had that on my list because it just came, and I didn't feel it was fair to put that on the list because it just arrived. That's why I didn't put Earth on it too.
I know my buddy Spencer, who's on the show, has Distilled. We're actually going to play it next week and review it for the show. We're going to play his copy. And I told him, because when he had it, I'm like, okay, we're doing it. Like, I'm telling you right now, I want to play it, must play it ASAP. I met the dude, Dave Beck. Is that his last name? The designer. I met him at Origins and talked to him. Actually interviewed him for the show. It might be on YouTube somewhere. But anyways, he was like the coolest dude, super nice. Loved hearing about his process and everything. And you know how it is, Mike. You meet a designer and and you talk to the guy and you're like, I like this dude. Like I want him to, like I want to play his game. And so yeah, Distilled is on my list at number 7. And oh, here we go. Yeah, it is Dave Beck. Man, I got it.
Nice.
I got it. And there we go. Gem time. Yeah, you would know. You missed Mr. Ion Award winner there. He knows what's up. And yeah, Dan's always happy to crap on a game for me. So thanks, Dan. Just tell everybody how crappy Cascadia is. And then when you play it, you'll be like, oh, it wasn't that bad.
I like Cascadia. I thought it was good.
Yeah, I don't know what I wanted when I played it. Yeah. I don't know. I played it and I'm like, okay, that's a game. Like, not bad. Not bad. It's one of those where it's like I on BGG, I'd rate it like a 7, where I'm like, it's good. I don't need to own it. Like an 8, 7.5, 8. I'm like, ooh, I kind of want to have it, and it was like, I'm happy that somebody else has it. Oh, there we go. Thanks, Dan.
There you go.
Thanks so much. Thank you so much. He's helping me out.
Good selections there, Jason. I got the same 3. Earth just delivered. Distilled was the week before, and Scarface was the week before that.
Man, that Scarface 1920 looks badass too. It looks really good.
Dude, you want to shit on a game? Get that game and look at the fucking inserts. They sucked. And I don't understand why companies, if any company is listening to this in the future or right now, please add a fucking insert diagram to where things go if you don't have it clearly labeled. Like sometimes you can put the icon on the bottom of the game trays, right? And you're like, okay, that's clearly a coin. I'm going to put the coin there. Like that all makes sense. But when you have all this shit, and they have 3, and it's game trays too, which is like, wait, what? There's 3 inserts in there. I don't know what goes in them. And one of my other friends got the same game, but got like the upgraded components. So he got the metal coins, which I don't think I got them. Or you got something extra. And he's like, oh yeah, I just put them in there. I'm like, yeah, I put them there too. But unless you take some out and put them in the player trays, they don't all fit. And there's no diagram on the side of the box. The box is this big. You can't put a diagram on the side of the.
Listen, Stonemeyer did that for Tapestry, right? Yep. Beautiful. Like, amazing. There's other games where they even will just give you like a little piece of paper you lay on top, right? I've got that with my Tainted Grail. It's got a thing where it's like, oh, this is where all the monsters go.
Yeah. Boom, Suburbia did the same thing. That exploded. Yeah. We did it on the side of Stuff of Legend. Yeah. It was like, it made sense to make sure that we put everything back in the toy box. So on the side of, sure, you could display your art, right? It's the inside cover. It's covered up, sure. But you can't put a display, like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. And the awesome thing is, now that I know somebody from Third World Studios, the second I get a bad insert from them, I'm going to be like, this is terrible. What were they thinking?
You will never get a bad insert. It won't happen. It won't happen. It's attention to detail. And I understand there's a lot of stuff that goes into making games. And I understand there are restrictions to stuff. Like, if you add 1 page to a rule book, you could potentially be adding 4 because of the way that they're made. I get that.
Right.
But there's got to be some sort of way, because as a gamer, not even in the industry, as a gamer, before I was in the industry, opening up a box that has a bunch of stuff and not knowing how to put it back in, unless I'm getting like Ziploc bags and putting everything in bags, and give me, if you have an insert that it's that pretty, it's not just your normal like cardboard shit, throw it away kind of insert. Like, you're spending time making the insert of your box look good and be functional, right? To keep everything. So if you tilt it sideways, everything still stays the same. I'm looking at Red Rising with that dumb insert in that deluxe edition. Pay attention to what you're doing, but give us like a little bit of an example. Like, This is where things go. It can't be that complicated. There,
No,
a
no.
QR code. Put it on your
Yeah.
website. It's
Oh,
a
dude.
static
Yeah.
page. Something.
Yeah. It's funny because back when I was getting into the hobby, and it's like bagging games, right? Bagging Ziploc baggies, and I would write health, whatever.
Yep.
Like I remember bagging up my Descent second edition, and I started writing the names of like what went in what bag just so that my friends could help me put it away.
Yeah. And the count. And you put the count of the tokens too. If there were health tokens, there are 40 health tokens. If there was money, it was 50 coins. Like whatever it was, I'd put on the bag too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's funny, Paul from Gem Time. I didn't see Dave at Gen Con, but I talked to him at Origins. So it's really weird because it's like it was one of those things where I knew that Dave had to have been at Gen Con. And I ran around that hall. I was like working part-time at my friend's booth for DV games, like helping them out, and then running around and meeting, pretty cool people and Mike. And see what I did there has a nice little.
Wait, was that a backhanded compliment
It
to
was,
me or your normal co-host?
No, I knew Mike going in. No, but I mean, we were running around, trying to do so much at Gen Con that like there were people that I met at Origins and absolutely loved, and then never saw them at Gen Con, and was like, at the end of Gen Con, it's like, holy crap, I didn't see XYZ. Like, man, what a bummer, But at the same time, I met so many other people, so many new people, present company included, and it is what it is. It's too busy. There's not enough time.
For sure.
I need to be multiple man. I need to make duplicates of myself without the multiplicity problem, which is a funny movie if you haven't seen it. And he's one of my favorite actors, dude, of all time.
It's a great movie.
I love that movie. Totally underrated. Quote it all the time. But anyways, there's just not enough time, at Gen Con. And
there's not enough time at any con, honestly. And I'm not trying to brag, but like the con at the gathering is 10 days. It starts, and you can go early. At any con, you can go early and hang out with your friends. But it starts on a Friday, and it goes to the following Sunday. And when that second weekend comes, you're like, I can't believe there's only 3 days left. And there's never enough time in a 4-day convention, a 7-day convention. There's just never enough time. And when you know so many people and you want to do so many things, and everyone is at least, most everyone is at least in that radius, right? They all go to Gen Con. And you're making plans. There's just never enough time to do all this stuff.
Yeah, and I have that problem when I go to just gaming convention, like just to play games. Like Geekway is just to sit your butt down and play games as long as you can. There's not enough time. All right, so I had Distilled at number 7. Did we do your number 7 yet? You and I we just go.
No, I didn't do 7.
Yeah, what's your 7? Because David's asking for 6, and we can't skip your 7 because it's going to be amazing.
No, I mean, I don't know about that. All right.
And why is it Happy Salmon?
Why is it Happy Salmon?
Yeah.
God, you want to piss off some people? Play Happy Salmon in a convention hall.
Yeah, seriously.
Next to like someone that's really playing like a Feld or a Knizia.
Oh, dude, and they're deep in it. They're serious.
All right. I'm gonna go with. So you're. Oh God, this is tough. All right, I'll bring in another Kickstarter.
Do it.
And sometimes, I mean, you get this if you drink too much. So this one's called The Shivers.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
I remember that on Kickstarter. That looked good.
I think it was 2 years ago at Origins or Gen Con, and looking at their prototype, which looked amazing, and their booth, and saying it was coming to Kickstarter. The idea of that being like the way that the pieces, like you put something in the back of the thing, and now you have new information, or you have new stuff you're searching for, and it changes the picture in the picture frame. Like it's a pop-up book that has all this cool gamery stuff to it, and it was super unique, and I hadn't seen anything like it. I still haven't. I think the closest thing might be Picture Perfect by Arcane.
Oh yeah, I like Picture Perfect.
Yeah, but nothing like this, and it's still in shrink, and I need to play it.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a cool game. Man, I really want to play that.
Looks
Just
awesome.
so you know, Jason, I know it's not Steve because the line I quote all the time from Multiplicity is "She touched my peppy, Steve."
Touch my peppy, Steve.
That's the dumb one. So he can't be talking to himself. He's
No,
dumb, but he
can't
ain't
be
that
Steve.
dumb. David has a question about Shivers
Wooden
real quick.
components.
Oh, Shivers me timbers. Oh boy. All right. I just saw the first thing without even reading the thing. I apologize,
good.
Dave. David's gonna be throwing the bad jokes at us. He warned us. Hey, we got your buddy Alan over
Alan!
here. Hey, Alan.
Hello,
Good
buddy.
to see you, man. He only failed by 30 minutes.
Yeah, nice.
And we started late, so you know that
That's
helps
true.
too,
Normally
right?
is their show normally is 8:00. We just started a half hour later today for reasons. Our show is 9:00, and both times we've changed. We've gone the whole hour ahead, hour back thing. It's fucked Alan up. Like he's missed our show by an hour because they don't do it, and we do. And he's like,
yeah, because Alan's out of country, right? He's just south of us.
Yeah,
just barely, just by a few miles.
Just a little bit. Yeah, right around the corner.
Just a little bit. I wish we didn't change time. I mean, come on, time change is dumb.
Oh, isn't it done though? Didn't they? This is totally off the rails now, but isn't it? Aren't we done with that? Like the next time change, like that's the last one, didn't they? Or that's up for vote or up for?
God, I hope so, man. I don't know, but I hope so. I hope so. I mean, from your lips to God's ears is all I can say.
We'll see.
Or whoever you want to pray to, or nobody's ears. I don't care, but make it happen.
I pray to my rookie gods. Yeah,
make it so.
Anyway.
Make it so. All right. So
all right. So the shivers for sure is on my list.
That's a good one, dude. I want to play that. It's not on my list, but I definitely want to play it.
Are you going to Origins?
I am going to Origins. You know I'm gonna bother you at Origins, dude. You're gonna be like, I'm so sick of this asshole. Like I gotta get rid of him.
Nah, man. No way. Every convention, every opportunity.
Dude, it's gonna be awesome. I cannot wait to have a beverage with you in real life. We're gonna have a great time, man.
Speaking of, I just finished my drink to pour a drink, and I forgot to pour a drink.
Oh, see, we got sidetracked. We're off the rails from pouring drinks.
What are you drinking? We didn't even go over what we're drinking tonight.
Oh, dude, yeah, I'm drinking Jeffers Creek Kentucky bourbon. This is distilled in my second hometown of Louisville, Kentucky.
Nice. Nice. I'm doing Kentucky as well.
Yeah, baby. Let's go. I'm an Indiana boy on an Indiana night, but Kentucky, all my family's from Kentucky, and then from there, basically like Ireland and Germany. So
nice.
Or Sweden, depending on which side of the mountain and what year they were drawing the line. You know, it's basically where my Swedish, German side of my family's from.
That makes sense.
But yeah, man. So I'm gonna swing it around and without a very good segue into the full 42. And my number 6 is a game that I almost bought at Gen Con. I've talked about it before, and that's Asking for Trouble.
Oh, come on. Yeah.
I gotta play it. Chris isn't watching, so I can say it. You know, so I'm not pandering to Chris. It's not like he's hanging out, looming, are they gonna talk about my game?
Mm-hmm.
But dude, I was looking at the game. Like I looked at it really, really hard, and I really want. Whenever I buy it, I'm going to find him and I'm going to make him sign my box because I'm a nerd like that. I just like to do stuff like that. I know. You got the Kickstarter fun one.
Just make sure when you get this one that you put it behind you and you put it right side up. Not the way Chris wants you to do it. Make sure you put it the right way, which is this way.
Oh, look, then we got a Troubles fan here, right?
Nice.
Here. So
yeah, I try and stay away. I mention it on the show all the time, and I know Chris is a co-host, so I always want to preface it by saying I was a fan of the game when it was cracking with him and Aaron before sure. I knew Chris. And the only reason I know Chris is through Troubles, because when we had to do everything from our house, Chris came. He was running the Kickstarter for the 2 expansions. And I asked him to come on the Tuesday, the QSCon Tuesday that I was doing remotely. And I had never talked to the guy before. And legitimately, Troubles is, I would put that in my top 5 if I were to rank things without hesitation. The game was great. I've talked about it beating Waterdeep for me. I love the way that the game, that choice of, do I go someplace to give you back your ship, to give you another action? So you're never choked out of the plinth trying to get your cleric, you know? You have that choice of, if I do this, I get what I need, but I'm giving somebody else another. And
Yeah.
it's super, and plus the sci-fi references, like everything about it
Dude,
was.
he had me at the sci-fi references, and I was looking at that game before I even knew about the full 42. Full disclosure, because I didn't learn about the full 42 until after basically at Gen Con, when I talked to you, and I was the day before holding that game in my hand, going, "Oh, I kind of want to buy this." And then Dan, I think, was like, "Oh, I think the designer's here," and I was looking around for him because Chris is distinctive. He stands out even with a mask. Chris is going to stand out.
Sure.
And I couldn't find. I was like, if I see him, I'm gonna buy this game. Like that's what I told myself. I'm gonna buy this game because I didn't just want to get the game. I wanted to get like everything for it, which is the benefit to getting it at a con.
Sure.
Is you get all the goodies, and usually get a nice little deal too, right? I'm gonna get it all. I'm gonna get all nice little sweet package deal.
Yeah.
I didn't see Chris. I put it off, and I was like, I'll come back. And you know how it goes at conventions. Yeah. It just never happened. Yeah. And but it's on my list. It especially not because the flip side of it, in full disclosure, I like to be transparent, is once I start to get to know people, and it's like, no, that's a dude that I want to support anyways, right? Nice. Like I want his game. I want to support him anyways. I was already excited about the game. Yeah. I want to support him. But Troubles was, I could honestly say that I think after Gen Con, like really pouring over that game and like looking at it hard and looking at all the references and all the expansions and all the ships, it's like, damn it, I want this game. So I think Troubles, regardless of Chris being secretly the lead singer from Aqua, would be on my list anyways. And credit to Chris, because he had a really good sense of humor and rolled with that whole joke that we were doing a month ago. I loved it.
That was so great.
I loved it because he doesn't really know me from Adam, but I appreciated that he had a good sense of humor, because if I don't pick on you, that means I don't like you. Right. So if we're not cracking jokes and digging on each other, I'm just being nice.
Sure. Yeah.
You don't want me just being nice. No, you want
that whole Aqua thing was hysterical. Shit.
Oh, dude, that was amazing. That grew legs and ran in a direction I was so happy with that I was just giggling at our Discord.
Oh, it's not dead yet. Wait till we show up at Gen Con with pictures of him and the Aqua band, like the logo above his head from a full 42 clip. Oh yeah,
that'd be so good. That'd be so good. But yeah, so asking for Troubles is my number 6. I'm excited to play it. Nice. I really
legit. The game, I know I'm affiliated with him now, but before I knew Chris, that game was always at top. It came with me to wherever I was going, because that game was it's so easy to play. It's so easy to teach.
There's something to be said for that too, right? Is you've got a theme that's accessible, because people are going to be excited because it's like, oh, I know what that ship is, right? Yep. And then if the game's good and easy to teach on top of that, like beauty. Here we go. Oh yeah. Like, let's do this.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one.
All right. So your unofficial number 6.
I got to do a thing. I have absolutely no transition.
No segue. I'm not setting you up well for transitions, but that's okay.
Not at all.
This is something I would never say at work, but I'll say it here. Ain't my job.
It ain't my job. No, it's true. It's true. You should make it more difficult, and I should be able to pivot and
bring make you on your feet, Mike. I'm gonna keep you on your feet.
I can't do it with this one. This is not going to work.
All right. Wait, here, while you're thinking though, I'm going to derail you real fast. You were curious about a comment I made on your episode on Monday. The Rangers clinched by another team losing. Correct?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Rangers clinched the playoffs. I broke the news to you, which makes me the bigger Rangers fan. No, I'm just kidding. Okay.
Totally not true, but if that's just going to help you sleep tonight, go ahead.
This is going to help me sleep.
That'll help. That'll definitely help. That or nightmares, one or the other.
Yeah, one or the other. Okay. Yeah, anyways,
the prior game, the game or two before, their magic number was 9. So when you had said they clinched, I didn't think they made up that
Oh, right.
Depending on who had lost, I didn't think they could have made up that many points in 2 or 3 nights that had passed. But
yeah. Hey, you're in.
On to season 2.
And I'm paying
now
attention.
Where do we sit? Do we want 3rd? Do we want 2nd? Where are we sitting now? So
right.
And apparently nobody wants the 8th space because they don't want to go up against Boston.
I mean, I get that, but
Yeah, they're gonna once they hit hard times. I don't know how they're gonna rebound, right? Because they haven't really had a bad stretch. So how are they going to react as a team when all of a sudden they lose 2 in a row or 3 in a row? And
when you have a sport where there's longer seasons, right? Like baseball, hockey, basketball, you want to be able to see how they react to adversity.
Yep.
You know, football, it's hard. Well, NFL, easier to do. College, impossible. You can't lose more than 2 games in college football and be in contention. That's just realistic. But how do you bounce back from a loss? How do you bounce back from an injury to maybe a star player? How do you handle that? Who steps up?
Yep.
I mean, all of that stuff, right? And that's the beauty of sports. I know we're boring Dan if he's still watching because he doesn't like sports. But I love it. I love that stuff. I love because I get nervous if my team is like super hot, but it has never really had a losing streak because it's like, man, when it comes, how bad is it going to be? How bad is it going to be?
They've lost 12 games. They play 82 in a season. They've lost 12. They already have 119 points. Like they've been good. They've been really good.
Consistent.
Yeah,
consistent.
But I mean, even Olmark is what 35 wins, and Shesterkin has 33 or something. When I last saw it, they were talking about Olmark being a shoo-in for the Vezina. Okay, but like, I understand. I get it.
Right.
But man, if that goes south, whew, could be brutal.
Could be brutal. I love this. Jason's making some Tom Petty references, and waiting is the hardest part.
I like it.
So I assume Jason's waiting. So he is either backed the second Kickstarter. Isn't it Monumental that had the Kickstarter that fixed the game? Like the first Kickstarter or the first version of the game has some issues. And I believe the second Kickstarter fixes some of those. Bobby would know if my buddy Bob's on, but
no, I don't know that one.
But yeah, so you're number 6 before I derail you again with more Rangers talk.
Yeah, I mean, we can keep going. That Star Wars games, why not?
Oh, dude, we'll plow through the list and then I'll bother you about other shit after that.
Okay, good. I do have to get some sleep tonight because of tomorrow, but
yeah, fair, totally fair,
right?
fair. Save me for myself.
I'm gonna go with the 2021 Kenner winner.
Oh, okay.
Which I can't believe I haven't played it. Again, another game I hadn't heard anything bad about from anyone that has played it, and that's Paleo.
Okay. Yeah, Paleo was huge.
Yep.
Huge.
Right? I mean, it was the Kenner from 21. So sure, the world shut down. Sure, it was hard to get games out there, but like it won the game. And I don't know if it won because of other things. I don't know. I don't know what, but everything that I had heard about Paleo was like, this game's great. Like, okay.
Yeah, and now that could have also been a game that seems like momentum was killed by COVID a little bit. Like it was really huge, and I haven't heard a lot about Paleo since.
So, are you trying to say that COVID killed the momentum?
I mean, maybe a little.
Okay.
I mean, it was big. It was big, and then it kind of like. I don't even know that Paleo showed up in my local game store. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because like, I mean, Inside Baseball, for anybody that doesn't normally follow the show, is like we film out of the back of a local game store. And there's definitely times where I will walk into the game store and go, oh, they've got that game. And I will go to the owner and say, hey, man, can we get that game for a review? And sometimes we buy it, and sometimes he gives us a game, to review for the show. I mean, we use his cameras, we film in his space and everything. And Paleo would have been one that I would have definitely asked for. Any game that wins the Kenner, you've got to take seriously.
Sure.
Well, didn't Cascadia? I think Cascadia won. Didn't Cascadia win the light game or like the family weight game of the year or whatever?
I want to say it was nominated. I don't know if it won.
Okay.
It may have.
Because my buddy Bob here, he had backed Cascadia, and so we played his copy. So I didn't ask for one or anything like that. But
yeah, it got the spiel, and not even the Kenner. It got the spiel in 22.
Yeah, and I think that's why I'm harder on Cascadia than maybe I would be normally. because I was
Sure.
like, really? Like that one won? Just my opinion.
Yeah.
It's listen, ease of teach, right? Interesting game,
Sure.
all those things. I agree. I agree with all those things. It is a game you bring to a meetup. You could teach, people could play very quickly and have a
For
very
sure.
good time. That's a game. That's a great game, especially like your QSCon Tuesday, right? You got new people. Hey, come sit down, play Cascadia. Let's
Yep.
try this out.
Absolutely.
Fully recommend, right? Like
Yeah.
for stuff like that.
Yep.
Is it the game I'm pulling off the shelf? Personally, no. But I see people playing it. I'm not going to walk by and go, "Well, that's dog crap." You know, like I hopefully I wouldn't do that for anybody's game ever. But
I don't know. I've done like last night. My friend Bobby he likes the game 10. That game 10.
oh yeah, 10.
Loves it. Thinks it's great. Was teaching it to a bunch of people. I stopped by and I was like, "Why are you playing this?" And then I was talking to some of the other people that were playing it afterwards, and they're like, "Yeah, definitely didn't have a good time." Like, well, and what was the other game? I don't want to shit on too many games, but yeah,
That's
there's just
okay.
certain, like Terraforming Mars. I don't like it. I never want to play it again. I played it once. I didn't have a good time. People love it. It's not for me.
Yeah, no. And the thing is I like Terraforming Mars, but I like it at a very low play count because if I'm playing with too many people, it just overstays its welcome for me
Sure.
personally.
Sure.
I know there's people that love that puzzle, right, and solving all that stuff.
Yep.
I just highlighted this so make sure my buddy Bobby sees it. But yeah, I mean it's fine. I actually prefer Terraforming Mars solo because I'm not waiting on anybody else. Because
Sure.
again, I can sink my teeth. Listen, I play Twilight Imperium. I can sink my teeth into a long game. You know, like I can do it, and I will have a great time doing it. I don't mind a 3-hour plus game of Game of Thrones where we're really just like knee deep in the muck. You know, when am I going to stab this dude in the back? I cannot wait to stab my best friend in this game in the back. Right. And there's some games where it's like, okay, let's just play this and then I'm going to play something else.
Yeah.
And Terraforming Mars is kind of like that for me. I like the resource conversion. I like the drafting and all of that, but I need it to just be faster.
Right.
So
I think that smaller, the Target one, that Ares Expedition, I played that and I enjoyed that. I would play that again.
Oh, sure. Right on.
But the base game, I don't understand why it's so up there. It's just,
you know, I don't know, man. The hype train is the hype train. And you just gave me a good segue for the game I'm going to pick for my number 5.
Look at you.
You ready for this?
No.
There's a designer that I absolutely love, and I've never played this game of his. I have the OG version, and I don't know which new version it is because it confuses me. And that is, but the number 1 game on BGG right now is Brass Birmingham.
Oh, nice. Matt Tolman. Yeah.
I have never played Brass Birmingham. I love Marty Wallace. I own an OG ugly ass copy of Brass. It's like a second edition copy of Brass. I bought it. My game store had it on clearance. I think I paid like $10 for it. Right. It's the dude like on the cover like this. Right.
Yep.
It's ugly as sin. I don't care. It's a Martin Wallace. I love Martin Wallace. I think he's a great designer. Is every one of his games my favorite? No, but I appreciate the man. I love a bunch of his games. Right. We talked about Brass Birmingham on like box covers, I think, or maybe that was Lancashire. I can't remember because why did Brass suddenly become 2 games? Yep. I don't know. It confused the shit out of me when we went to Kickstarter. And having never played Brass, I'm like, I don't know. I bought Brass, like I said, off of that table. I want to play it. I can play my old and busted copy. I'd be happy to play the new one on BGG with, I don't know if it needs the Iron Clays, but I know there's Iron Clays for one of those games. I love great components in a game, but I can play beige and brown and tracks and like, let's just move these old ass, you know, wooden cubes up and down. A game is a game and I'm there for it. If it's
A lot of it
got
happens up here. A lot of that cube pushing,
Yeah.
right? It's all you're filling in. You're filling in that movie. You're filling in the scenes.
Yes. So I don't mind, right? I mean, if it's got fun chips for me to play with while I'm waiting for other people to take their turn, even better.
Yeah.
But anyways, oh yeah, so Bob's got me here. Iron Clays for both. Yeah, I knew Bob would know because I think he's got both. I think he backed that Kickstarter, got both.
Nice.
And if anybody cares, Bob's one of our other OG co-hosts on the rundown. He just works. He's a night owl, works night shift. I'm a day walker, so he's watching from work. But
Very
so
cool.
that's why he's not here. But yeah, man, Brass Birmingham. I gotta play this dang game. I know it's a train game, I guess. Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
I
but I
watched it
gotta,
played. It's one of Daryl's favorite. I watched him play it. Like I sat there for a good hour while they were playing through it, and the choices are real. Like the way the game stacks and plays and grows, like it's very deep. It's very thinky. It's got a lot of those good meaty moments.
yeah.
The art's phenomenal. It's definitely different than the original, obviously.
Dude, both versions of that new game, right? Lancashire and Birmingham. I don't know the difference.
Yeah.
They look amazing.
Yeah.
They absolutely look amazing. The updated art, right? And components. Yep. I'm here for it. Yep. I'm here for it. I hear that Birmingham is way better than Lancashire. Yeah. I guess clearly, according to BGG, that is the case.
Yeah, for sure.
But
Roxley does a great job with their stuff. The majority of Roxley's stuff, like when it's not partnered with somebody else, Roxley does.
Sure. Yeah, man. And I was introduced to Martin Wallace way late in the game. Fully acknowledge that because I discovered Martin Wallace with Australia.
Oh,
and love that game. I got lucky. I got to play like a pre-release, very early version of Australia, because you know how it is. Sometimes you just know the right person and they have access to some stuff. I got to play that game and I was like, holy smokes! Like, what is this game? Like, I got like, who's this guy, right? And it's like, oh, Martin Wallace, right? And it's like, oh, damn, you know, it's like discovering Stanley Kubrick late in life, and you're running around going, doesn't everybody know who this is? And you're like, we've known for years who this is.
You you come across Kubrick at the right time of your life, because if you discover Kubrick early, you're like, what the hell?
This doesn't make any sense to me.
None whatsoever. Yeah.
Right. But you get what I'm saying though, right? Sure. You know, and you hit that guy and then you're like, whoa. And I love Australia. Australia is amazing. I love that game. It is a top 10 game for me. Not for everybody, but that game just hit a sweet spot for me. And I also love Wildlands a lot. That was the second Martin Wallace game I played. And I was like, this is so different from Australia. And then come to find out that Wildlands is really just more the different game, like the most different game that Martin Wallace has done compared to his other stuff. But I don't care. But anyways, so
he's got one. I played with a friend of mine. I couldn't tell you the name of it. I could probably search it. It's something about the stars, not like The Fault in Our Stars, but something about something with stars in it. And I didn't realize it was a Wallace game until like we were halfway through. I was like, oh, who's the designer of this? Because some of the stuff was just like the way that things were working was like really smart. It's like when you find that design, like Wolfgang Warsch or or like when you find that designer that does that gets into your mind and does those really cool things, you're like, oh, I want to see what else they do. Wallace is definitely one of those.
Oh boy. We got
oh god,
dude. And then Dan's giving me crap about when am I going to name a good game, Dan?
Right.
Dan, listen, have you played any of the games on my list? I don't think so. He's got to give me a hard time, and I appreciate that he's here busting my chops. And I say that with full vitriol and hatred for Dan.
Wow.
No, I'm just kidding. He's a co-host, so I can say that. So yeah, Brass Birmingham is my number 5.
Good pick.
Haven't played it. Sounds amazing. Looks amazing. I want to hear your number 5, and then I need to grab another big ass ice cube for my drink. Oh wait, is that a handful of stars? Is that the game?
Maybe.
I don't know that's a game. I just think of a fifth.
Oh my god, that's when you buffer? That's when you buffer? When you're about to drop info? It might be. I don't know. A Handful of Stars. I want to say Stars was in the name of the game, and it's Martin Wallace. It's definitely Martin Wallace, but I forgot it. Yeah, maybe it's a Handful of Stars. I loved it. I thought it was great. I had a great experience. It was the first time for both of us playing, so it was a little bit of a rules understanding and going back to the rules, that kind of play. But it was not a deterrent. Like the game, it was still a great experience. Nice. Oh wow. Okay.
Man, Jason Cubitos could have been on my list, but I thought harder and had more respect for my normal co-host, Mike Rice. Cubitos should have definitely been on my list. I'm dying to play that damn game. Oh, here we go. And then Dan played it. And Ginger, Jonathan, I'm glad you're back, man, because I was giving you a hard. We were talking about giving you a hard time for not being here to pick on me for buffering. So, Jonathan, we know that there are people in our game group that own Alchemist. You can get that played, dude. Oh, and so here's Dan. Dan at least is giving BGG credit and not just saying that he pulled that off the top of his head.
Nice. Is that Alchemist the one with the tech? Like
yes,
that tree?
Yes,
yeah.
That is that one. When the second you went, is that the game? And I'm like, yep,
yeah,
that's that game.
So I was just before this, I was just playtesting a design that we're doing, that we're looking at, like something that we're coming in. I can't talk about it, but we were talking about technology in gaming, and that's one of the games, and it just reminded me of it. If you don't have the app for that game, some poor schmuck has to sit there with the book. Can't even participate in the game. Just has to sit there with the book and be like, wait, what do you have? Mushroom in this? Oh, yeah. Okay, well, you do this thing. And that's all they do because you need to have, like, God, that sucks.
Yeah, I mean, the ease of play, right? Because of the app, yes. But it is a great game. It's a really crunchy ass deduction game, right? As you're trying to puzzle it together. And I know Ginger would love that game because of the way his brain works. Like I know him. I know how his brain works. So now that I know that Katya is still watching, I feel like we should like every once in a while, just like troll her a little bit, like drop a comment in, just to be like, see if she's paying attention. You know, I'm a poker sometimes. You can do that.
Right then, that's when you buffer. You can do that because she's a guest on your show next week, and I'm sure she'll give it right back to you. So if you want to go that route, go right ahead, especially with all your buffering.
Back at the perfect time. Back at the perfect time.
I love it. When you're buffering, do you hear the stuff?
I turn on I turn on the volume on my iPad so I can hear a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, you were exercising. That's why you left. Oh, sure. Humble brag. You exercise. Amazing.
Yeah,
great.
I'm working my left hand right now.
Yeah, here we go. I will, after I get this ice cube, I will then start working my right hand.
Nice. Is that how it works?
I don't know. Sure. So, what's your number 5, Mike?
All right. I don't know. I don't know how to even come up. I'm not even going to think about it. I'm going to go with Blaze On by 25th Century Games.
Oh. All right.
I saw it played a few times last weekend. I believe it was played on Tuesday, maybe last Tuesday. I've been hearing great things about it. From was it Gen Con or Origins last year? We were talking to Chad about it, and Chad was just recently on the show, on the Monday show. I haven't heard a bad thing about it yet. It's super sleek. Like the art, the graphic design of it is just nice. And I've heard good. I think it's got a solo mode that seems to be going well for people that are playing it. So it's fairly new to my collection, but I brought it a couple times and I haven't been able to play it yet. And I want to experience why it's so good. I guess why people think it's so good. Not that I doubt it. I believe that it is. I haven't played it yet.
No, but there's something to be said for like, hey, I've been hearing amazing things about this game. I need to experience it. Right.
Yeah.
Which
is kind of what drove this list, right? Like there are a couple older games, right, that I just hear people talking about it. And some of them are like, I remember this when I saw it on Kickstarter, like the shivers. Just the idea of that was just bonkers. So it's all over the place.
Alan,
Yeah.
Alan, pump the brakes, Alan. Listen, man, I cannot alienate all the people that I love over from the full 42. Do not make them stop coming over and hanging out with me, because that would make me so sad. That would make me so sad. Yeah, that's right, Katya. We're just making friends. Oh, good. I see what Dan's doing. Complete
Nice.
your training.
Yeah,
The
right.
dodos riding dinos.
I'm pretty sure that's a local designer too for me. I think they're out of Rochester. I think it was
Oh,
I think I read.
badass. Yeah, shame on you
Yeah,
for.
Dave, what the hell? You and I, we were supposed to play it last weekend. We didn't.
Oh, for shame.
I know. You can blame the tacos though. That's fine. Still too soon? Is it still?
No, never too soon. Never too soon.
Yeah, so I'll go Blaze on with my number 5.
I love it.
It looks pretty. It's a sleek design. I've seen everybody talking, not everybody, but those that are playing it and talking about it, not only in my social group, but stuff I've seen posted. It looks like it's got to be something I play. I have to play it.
So yeah, no, I get it. I'm here for it. You're exactly right. Board and Box, I'm going to hit your question real quick. I'm going to give you a fast answer so we can do our number 4. But my process for learning a new game is usually setting it up and playing a few dummy turns by myself. And then and reading through the rule book. I can read the rule book, but it doesn't always click until I actually sit it down and really try to play a turn or two.
Yeah.
Then, so Mike's process, let me just answer for him. He just designs the game and then he knows how it plays. Is that not accurate?
Spot on, man.
Yeah.
Spot on. Yep. That's all I do.
And that is a perfect segue to my number 4.
Well, wait, hold on. Why don't you go get your ice cube?
Oh, all right. I'll get my ice cube. You answer this question.
Unless you're just raw dogging your whiskey and you don't want to put the ice cube in there.
No. I'd rather not raw dog, because both my partner in this and I would both prefer not to have to raw dog. I love it. It's all about consent, Mike. Okay, answer your process while I go grab my cube.
Sure. So unlike Tim, I don't like rule books. I think rule books can be a deterrent if not done properly. And unfortunately, the majority of rule books, I don't want to say majority because that's too much of a blanket sweep, but a lot of rule books are not formatted properly, right? They're talking about terminology or bits in a game and they haven't introduced it yet. So I get lost in reading the rule books. I'm way more of the other part of what Tim was saying, setting up stuff and playing through two-handed, how a game, what are the bits, set this up, there you go. Set this up, play through that. This is what it looks like with a 3-player setup, whatever. And then if I need clarification, either I go to the rule book for a specific bit, or I'll try and find somebody that I trust that has a video, right? Like Rodney or Rado or somebody.
Rado's amazing, right?
Yeah. And we've talked about Rado. I love his people shit on his stream of consciousness. And
no, screw that. Screw that. He's amazing.
Right. I agree. The way that he's taking you through the game, and even though he's like, all right, let's say we did this, or then he'll start doing a turn and you'll realize, wait, he just fucked that up, means you just learned it. Like he taught it properly. And when he takes an action that's incorrect and you're correcting him before, Paolo does the thing or he corrects himself and oh, wait, I can't do that. Like he's actually teaching you the game.
Yeah.
But rule books can be a severe deterrent if not done properly. And unfortunately, rule book, it's a skill. Getting a rule book done so it's informative and instructional and important, to use 3 eyes randomly. It's very hard to do. Rule books suck.
I can tell you, and I love. There's some games that I absolutely love that just have garbage rule books.
Mm-hmm.
Garbage rule books. And from game companies where I know the people, I know people that have a hand in it.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, why does your rule book suck so bad?
Yeah.
And there's games that I love where it's like, these crucial rules are left in weird areas, and it's like, why?
Yeah.
Why do you do this to me? And it happens. It happens. We were talking about War of the Ring. We played War of the Ring, the card game, the other day.
Oh, nice.
Um,
I saw that. I saw your post on it.
and Dan learned how to play it, and he taught us all how to play. And in the review video that'll come up, we specifically talk about like your carryover limit, which is like the number of cards you can take over to your next turn. And it's like this one really weird spot in the rule book, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And that shit happens all the time in rule books,
Yeah.
where it's a very basic rule, but it is a rule that people need to know like right away.
Mm-hmm.
And it's real simple, right? It's just literally you can carry over 2 cards or 3 cards or whatever. Right? That rule can be so basic, yet it is overlooked and left. I had that problem with Sorcerer City as well. I forget what the exact rule was, but it was in a weird spot, and it wasn't a game I loved anyways. So then it was like, the rule book's kind of weak because, like, why don't you just have it?
Yeah.
And not every game can be bullet pointed on like one rule card. I get it.
Yep.
But also, though, when you miss things that you feel like could have been a bullet point on a rules reference, and it's like, dude,
yeah,
like this would have made our lives so much easier. And I say this as from somebody who is trying to learn games quickly so that we can put out a video that's quality, right? And honestly represent the game.
Right.
Because as reviewers, right? So I'm coming at it from a different angle than you as a designer and, somebody that works from a company and as a gamer, just in general. But as a content creator for these videos, it's like, man, good rule books are amazing.
Yep.
And they are a lifesaver because I can jam out a video and I can say, this is the rules. We played this X, Y, and Z. We thought this was great. This was weak. Maybe this could have been a little more clear. And if the rule book isn't great, man, that's such a hindrance, and, and rule books are tough. I get it. I've never had to write one. Right. And I will, it's the quote. It's the quote that those that can't, teach or critique.
Yeah.
And I am fully in that. I am fully in that boat. Right. I am not writing rule books. I get it. I understand that.
The problem is, from a designer's perspective, writing a rule book, right? I designed a game. I'm going to write the rules to the game. A lot of the stuff that I've put into the game or worked with in the game or whatever the reason is, it's in my head. Like, I know I can carry 2 cards over to the next round, but writing a rule book, it's not that important because I know it. So, like, you need someone on the other side of that's developing, that's the publisher is going to take the time to make sure, wait, what are you talking about here? And make sure it makes sense, because there's nothing worse than reading on page 2 of a rule book, see reference on page 17. Well, that's 15 pages fucking later. Like, if that's important, tell me now, like, what that is, because now I know you're going to talk about something that I'm not going to, like, future me is going to know, but present me doesn't know. And that's also frustrating. And to Dave's point right there, I'll tell you, Oath, if you've experienced Oath.
Oh, Oath. Holy crap. Wow. Yeah, I haven't played Oath yet, but
amazing. Open the box, put the things where they want you to do, and then you're on a rail, and they tell you what to do on your turn. And you're going to draw from this deck, and you're going to play this card, and this card's going to do the thing. And then you're going to take your discards and put them over here, and there's going to be the next player, and the next player is going to do. As soon as you get around to, like, okay, go, you want to crawl back in your cage. You have no idea what you're so on the rails with that tutorial, in them telling you exactly how to play, thinking it's going to be like, and this is my interpretation of it. And Oath is revered. It's got good feedback. Like, I know friends that love it, but they are so tutorial based in the beginning for how things work, that when it's time for you to do your thing, you're lost.
Well,
for me,
I was lost. And listen, Leader Games, right? Like, I love them. I think that they are an amazing company, with what they do and the level of complexity, but not hard. I don't, if that's a thing, right? That they present in their games, freaking fantastic. But, there is something to be said for, like, hey, Root's a great game, but you need to have somebody that's already played it teach it to you.
Yep.
And that is a legitimate barrier to entry.
Yeah, for sure.
And I feel like that is also a constant with leader games. It's not a dig on them, because I feel like that the people that get into it and love it, man, it is a satisfying experience for them. They have such a good time with those games and get so much out of those games. So just so you know, Paul, because this is Paul who loved writing his rule book. Now when we get your game, because we're gonna harass Paul until he sends us his game, to preview for him. We're gonna be looking at that rule book now.
Nice.
We're gonna be looking at that rule book. But no, there's something to be said for an amazing rule book, right?
Yep,
You get a really good rule book, and it's like, dude, it's one thing if you get a rule wrong here or there. It's like, oh, I misread that, or I read that too fast.
Yep.
Whatever. If the rule book's good, the rule book's good. You understand the bare bones of the game. You miss one thing, who cares, right? It happens. Yeah. It's going to happen if somebody's at home playing that game, right? They open that game up, they play it. They're teaching it to their family, but they're learning from the book as they go.
Yeah.
Because now, Trevor, I have a question. Why are you feeling attacked? Pardon my ignorance, Trevor. Are you a game designer? Have you written rule books, or do you just teach games badly like I do? I want to know. I don't know that always.
Oh, hey, Chris. That's Chris. I know Chris. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. I know that is it Sarah Shaw does like the 1 minute reviews or something. So I think that's her name. She's really good. She's really good at what she does. But I also don't always know that like 1 minute or 3 minutes is enough. And that's not a dig on what she does, because I really respect like the craft and the ability. But for me, I don't know that is always enough. But maybe it is. Maybe it is.
I like Game Boy Geek did the Allegro.
Because I think that
are good.
Oh,
there he goes. Great. Yeah. So Game Boy Geek, if you know Dan, he has those Allegra? Nope, that's a superhero. Allegro. They're like 2 minute rapid ones, and then if you like what you see, you can go to the big one. And then he gets into more of like the turn order and the reasons why you're doing shit. But he gives you that little quick hit of, oh, will I like the game? And I like the way that he does his things.
No, I think I actually like legit Game Boy Geek, right? Yep. I really like him. That is a dude I watch, and I think the quick hit for if you like it.
Yep.
Yeah,
when he started doing his 2 minute hits, right? Like this is, and whether he regurgitated some of the scenes from his longer one, whatever. Like it was under 2 minutes. This is what the game's about. This is what you're doing on your turn. It's not like Rodney's full setup and how to play. It's like, It was very like, oh, you know what? This does sound interesting. Let me see more. And that's what you do. Like,
and then you can dig deeper. And I get that too, Mike, because that's kind of how I am sometimes. Where it's like, oh God, a 45-minute, like how to play? Really?
Yeah.
And, I don't know that I'm down for that.
Yeah.
Now, if it's a Kickstarter and you're like, do I want to back this game? Maybe you look at that, and there's also definitely a market for that. There are people that want to know the rules for the game that they're getting into, and they want to understand it. And I totally respect that. For me, it's like, do I vibe with this game?
Mm-hmm.
And that can be enough for me.
Yeah.
I have backed so many games just because it's like, no, I get the vibe. Like, this is a game I'm going to like because of the theme and the style of play.
Yeah.
And I'm just open to the execution of how all of that works.
Yeah.
Is it always amazing? But when it hits, man, it's
sure. It's like right finding your forever person, right? When you find that person, you're attracted to the cover, right? Which you are to games. Like, oh, this game looks amazing. All right, well, what about it looks amazing? The front cover, the art. Then you get into the game and you realize like the cards are shit, the components are shit, right? The board is not UI, like it doesn't cater to how you play as a game. Like, it's all about finding that balance between experience and fun, and right, like it's
Right.
very similar. I mean, I think anyway.
No, I agree, dude. I agree 100%. All right, 100%. And sometimes it's the and Alan, right. Tutorials 45 minutes to an hour. It's a huge barrier. I totally get that, dude. I totally get that. And it just depends on how die hard I am about it.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah.
If it's a game where it's like, no. I really want to understand how to teach this game. I'm gonna play this game on Saturday.
Right.
I'm gonna play it on Saturday. I need to really
Sure.
really know how to teach it because I don't want to catch shit from my buddies because I taught a rule wrong.
What do you mean you don't know? Yep.
Right. But there's some games that it's like they don't need a 45-minute tutorial.
No, and that's where we step in when we're at a convention and we see somebody reading a rule book at a table. You'd be like, hey, you want me to teach you the game? You don't have to read the rule book. I can teach it to you. Somebody was playing Sequoia last weekend. Have you played Sequoia?
No, but that's a Pandasaurus flick.
Nope, that's
game,
Sonora.
right?
That's Sonora.
Oh, Sonora. Damn it. I was so close. One letter off. Change a word.
Very
Change
close.
a letter.
Sequoia is a board game tables, that little small box from board game tables.
Yes.
No need to read if I see somebody trying to play it, like I can get you playing that game in a minute. It's very easy. And sometimes reading a rule book, you're going to read the rule book and try and learn the game for a longer amount of time than the game is played. And that's just that's shitty, right?
No, not cool.
No.
Not cool.
Right.
If the Happy Salmon rule book takes more than a minute to figure out, you're broken.
No.
And I'll use Happy Salmon because I know people hate that game and I love it.
It's fun.
It's totally fun. It's totally fun.
Yep.
All right. Holy crap. Oh, are we on number 4 now?
You are on number 4, sir.
Are you ready to hate me?
I'm not, but if that's now, then sure.
Oh, now's the time.
Okay.
Now's the time. So I saw this game on Kickstarter and I was like, that looks really cool. Then I was walking around Gen Con and I look at this game and I'm like, that game looks really cool. Then I start talking to somebody from this company. I'm like, God dang it, that game looks really awesome. It's not out yet, so it's a cheat. Stuff of Legend is a game I want to play. I swear to God, Mike, this is not pandering to you.
Sure.
This is a game I want to play. I was looking at your booth. I'm looking at the minis. I'm looking at the style of play. Like I'm looking at all the stuff you guys had out at Gen Con.
And
I'm just like, God dang it. Why didn't I back this game? This game looks so cool. And also, right, like all of these lists, everything we do, every time we do a top 10 for that matter, or top 5, it is subjective. Sure. Whether it's art or style or components or whatever, it's subjective. And Stuff of Legend really appealed to me even more when I saw it in person than when I saw it on Kickstarter. Because I believe we talked about it when it was a Kickstarter way before, like on one of our rundown shows.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So before I knew Mike, before I knew Third World Studios, and it's a cheat because it's not out yet. But holy crap, man. I thought that game looked really cool. I thought it looked cool then. And then I saw it in person and I'm like, ugh. I'm like literally hurry curry, like for not backing it. It looked great.
I think late pledges are still open.
I love it. But no, man, this game looks really good. I think people should. This is a game that I think needs to be talked about. And again, right, when we do these lists, sometimes it's like, I just want to talk about this game. I like this game. I want more people to know about this game. Okay. Yeah, I just thought that Stuff of Legend looks so much cooler, especially in person. Not that the Kickstarter was bad. Your page was great. Your page was well laid out. Everything's there, right?
All
But
do know.
but then when you see it in person and you're like, oh, 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 you know what I mean? There was a lot of that. There was a lot
Oh
of
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah.
Like I would say the same thing with charcuterie. Like you showed me charcuterie in person while we were there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, this looks way better than I thought it would have been. Because
That was before we didn't even have her art all done, right? We had like I think I showed you the art on the computer because the bits were just stand-ins.
yes.
Have you seen the releases of the? Have you seen Jola's stuff?
Well, I've looked at the Kickstarter.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude, the avocado is like it's amazing.
yeah. I mean,
Oh, nice.
yeah. So I mean,
Look,
let me just say though, dude, like it looks so good IRL in real life when you're there, and I was looking at that the day before I even met Mike, the day before, because they were right down the aisle from BA Games,
yeah,
which is Forges of Ravenshire, Cult of the Deep.
Cult of the Deep. Yeah, yeah.
And I love Sam anyways. I love Sam, and I genuinely think he makes great games. But like I was already in that aisle, walk down, and I look at Third World Studios, and I go, "Oh, I remember hearing about this." I don't know if you were there or not, Mike, but I walked by and like spent some time really looking at your stuff. Nobody talked to me,
Yeah.
and that's not a dig. That's not a
No,
dig
that's
at all.
big. That's. Thanks for bringing that up.
No, that's legit not a dig. But nobody, I'm just looking at the stuff, and I'm like, and because honestly, sometimes you want to look at stuff without getting the sales pitch.
Yeah,
So
sure.
so truly not a dig. I'm just looking, and I'm like, man, this looks really good. And then literally the next day, we go and we play Mission Control.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then we're like, holy shit, Mission Control is amazing. Mission Control is amazing. We had the best time. I was getting text messages about Mission Control. Tim, when are you done? We got to go play Mission Control. We went and we did a video for Mission Control.
Mm-hmm.
Mission Control would be on this list if it was, way closer to being done.
Well, it's
But
closer than you think, but you've already played it, so you'd be cheating.
yeah, true. But then, yeah, thanks, Dan. But then we were there to talk to the Mission Control guys.
Yep.
The next day, we're like, please talk to us. Like, let's hear about this. And then I met that, and that's when I met Mike.
Yep.
That's when I met Mike, and we talked a little bit about Stuff of Legend, but Mike and I just kind of talked. So it was a little bit of industry talk. It was a little bit of just kind of get to know you. What kind of gamer are you? Like we had a real conversation. But the whole time I'm looking at this majesty that is Stuff of Legend. And I'm like, the whole time just kicking myself because it's like, this game's fucking beautiful. Pardon my French. It's beautiful.
It's nice.
And it looks like a game that's up my alley, and that's the other thing is it looks so good, and on a side note, yeah, it's like, okay, now I'm meeting people that are involved in bringing this to life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, no, I like these dudes. Like they need success. Now, granted, our tiny channel does not, their success, the work put in and the quality of what they are bringing to the table, our channel is going to do nothing, right? We're a drop in the bucket. But I am happy to count myself as a drop in that bucket. But I'm just going to tell you that Stuff of Legend looks amazing. If that's your type of game, don't sleep on it. That's all I'm going to say. It may not be for everybody, but if that is your type of game, do not sleep on Stuff of Legend. I think it looks awesome. I think it's great. And I'm, dude, and also Mission Control while we're talking about it. Mission Control is even on a different level, also amazing. It's a different type of game. It's way lighter. It's a different level, type of accessibility, if that's the right word.
Sure.
Because I feel like lighter gamers can come into Mission Control and have fun with that, right?
For sure.
Stuff of Legend is like a game that I want to play with my kids, as they get older. I look at it like a Mice and Mystics,
Sure.
like
Yep.
like let's get in, let's buy into the lore of
Yep.
this, let's get in early, and they're just gonna love it. So, oh boy. Mission Control to Apollo. Are you talking about the what was that game? Apollo 11, Apollo 13?
It's not.
It's completely different.
Yeah, game wise is no similarity, but a funny thing. Hey, Evan. Funny thing.
Okay, dude. What's up,
Yeah,
buddy?
no,
Glad you're here. Thank you for being here.
the Mission Control, the reference for Mission Control and the desire to make a game came from the Apollo 13 mission and the explosion that they had. So the game came out of their love for that IP, that real thing that happened, and then it became this thing that 3WS has developed into an IP. So
no, and again, we talked to those guys, and it was such a good time, and they were so. To me, it's always amazing because here's the thing, and Mike, feel free to shoot me down. When I talk to guys that have made games, designed games that have been successful, been published, I'm just like, for me, as somebody who loves to play games, it's like meeting a musician or an actor.
Mhm.
And it's like, and I don't care how you perceive your role in that industry. For me, it's like, no, dude, you made something. You made me feel something.
sure,
Right.
yeah,
And it's like I don't care what you think. If you think that was like a tiny little game, no, you made us feel something. You have brought like emotion into my life, right? Like whether it's acting, whether it's game design,
yeah,
whatever. Like
yeah.
you have given me an experience. Like I'm here for it. And I just respect that, because all I do as a content creator, right, is I imbibe,
Sure.
I play the games and I just relay my experience about that. But I have so much respect for you guys that actually create stuff, and it's like, oh, it's so good. It's
So
so good.
I'm not going to shoot you down, but I'm going to bring you back. I'm going to let you jump up a little bit. You
Okay.
also, as a content creator, you also create those emotions, right? When we get into, and this is not my design or my develop or my stuff, this is just being on camera, being here right now.
Yeah.
When we start talking about a game and you genuinely love that game, you bring feeling to that emotion, or you bring feeling to that talk, right? And
For
you can
sure.
tell when someone is being genuine about a game that they enjoy or a game that they don't enjoy, and the reasons why. So even though you want to say that we've brought emotion, like a feeling to you, you're doing that to people that watch the show and watch your reviews, and they can
Totally
tell, they
fair.
feed off of you, right? So you're giving them emotion, like, wow, look how into that game he is.
Right.
So you do the same thing.
No, I mean, I get it, right? And much respect, much respect. Because I will tell you, the one time we ever did a paid thing for our show, it was a Kickstarter that didn't succeed, but I love the shit out of that game. I love that game. And I would not have promoted that game or taken that person's money if it was not a game that I truly enjoyed playing. And I was so sad that that game didn't fund. And I'm still waiting for that game to fund. Right now, currently, right? Every single review we ever do, all we ask is a copy of the finished game, right?
Right.
So, for example, say tomorrow Mike makes a game and he's like, hey, man, I need coverage for this game. All I'd say is, if your game funds, send us a copy of the game. That's all I ask. For the rundown, that's what we ask. We don't charge. God willing, we get big enough one day that we can be like, hey man, yeah, we're gonna charge Simon X amount of dollars to cover a game.
Sure.
Hopefully Mike gets big enough where that's an issue.
That'd be great.
But even then, right? Like I don't know that I would ever charge Mike for a game.
Oh.
But we know who we are. We are realistic about where we're at. We're happy to do it. We're happy to be here. And so yes. And honestly, if we have a game, let's just say Paul, right? Paul, right here, Gem Time Games. If Paul sends us his game, Ion award-winning game, and I don't love that game, I'm gonna go, hey Paul, it didn't land for us. I will still make this video for you, but it's not going to be like overwhelmingly positive. Do you want me to do that, or do you want me to send that game on to the next guy who hopefully has better things to say? And I'm not going to publish a video trashing Paul's game. Now, if Asmodee, Simon, USopoly, who doesn't matter, right? Like we don't matter to them. If they send us a game and they're like, hey, review our game. Okay. Well, if it's good, I'm going to say it's good. And if it's bad, I'm going to put out a video saying it's bad. We're not going to hurt them. We're not going to hurt them. We will also hopefully explain very well why we don't like the game or why I don't like the game. But like if Mike sent us a game and said, hey, man, take a look at this. If I don't like it, I'm going to say, hey, Mike, it didn't land with us. I'll put this video out and we'll talk about it. You can see what we filmed.
Right.
And you can judge for yourself.
Right.
But it, I'm not all about like shitting on somebody else's, the smaller companies or the independent publishers.
Sure.
And so full disclosure, like when we talk about games, we are genuinely passionate and excited about those games.
Yeah.
Stuff of Fables. I'm excited about it, man. I was interested when I saw it on Kickstarter. And then when I saw it at Gen Con, I was like, oh, damn it.
Nice.
Like, oh, damn it. This looks really cool. This looks really cool.
It was a fun, Kevin had the opportunity to sit back and bake it a little bit more because of the global shutdown, right? So he got to work it in a little bit better, but the lore behind it, right? You're talking about a graphic novel that's been around since 2008 that has a hell of a story, right? With amazing art and just a kick-ass like narrative. So to be able to play in that world and have Kevin, who is a very prolific designer, be able to connect the characters and their good and bad abilities to their storyline in the series, like it brings that even more to life. And the idea of being able to do that it's not a game, like you had said, it's not a game for everybody. It's definitely a thinky game, and it does rely a little bit on maybe deception, right? But you can shift that deception around, and that even becomes another layer of the game. Like, did you do the shifting card trick, right? Did I give you the card and now I'm going to throw you under the bus, and now the resistance things happen where, why are you talking so much? Why are you defending yourself? It has so many different layers when you start playing through it, and it really is solid. And I guess to what you say, full disclosure, Jason, who's my local game store manager, got a copy of the prototype before COVID, before it was supposed to launch earlier, because Mike Raich is a local author and he's co-writer of the Stuff of Legend. So he got an early copy from Mike. Like, Mike was sent a game to play test or whatever, and he knew Jason, so Jason had a copy, and he brought it to a QSCon Tuesday. And one of the posts that DeVito made under 3WS was like gearing up for the Kickstarter or something. And I commented genuinely like, dude, the game's great. Like, I can't wait to see it. I had an opportunity to play it. And DeVito reached out personally and said, thanks for the comment. Like, that was nice of you. And I'm like, I meant every word of it. I have no idea who you are. I have no idea who Mike is. I read the story. The game's bonkers. Like, good job. And it all started from there.
Right. I just got a show for Portland Gamecraft.
Yeah, man.
And
Come on, Evan, what are you drinking?
Best of Star Trek, dude. Hey, man, thanks for stopping by and saying hello. Whether you stay for 5 minutes or an hour, thank you for saying hello. That's what we're drinking. Good to see you, buddy. But man, I mean, and that's the thing is we've got, I mean, it's kind of funny. It's the point of this list. Games we're excited to play, games we want to play ASAP, right? We want to play right now. If you and I weren't passionate and excited about the games on our list, what's the point? right?
If we were passionate about this, we wouldn't have a show on Monday. We wouldn't have a show on Wednesday. You wouldn't do your recording from the back of a game store. You wouldn't have the wall
Exactly.
behind you. It just wouldn't. None of this would exist, right?
Exactly. None of this would list.
Think of all the people, like, you can do your little Venn diagram of like your circle of friends, right? And the people that are non-gamers that you consider friends, right? And then
Right.
your circle of gamers or friends in the industry or people you've met from tabletop gaming experiences. And like, they're some of the coolest people.
No, and it's funny, Mike, you bring that specific example up because I saw one of my best friends tonight. He has a kid the same age as my oldest daughter. He does not play board games. He every once in a while like kind of checks in on the channel because he knows it's a thing that I do. He's not a board gamer. I don't push it on him. We play like party games when we go and do stuff. We go to like Comic-Con together, you know.
You play Happy Salmon, don't you?
Yeah, we play Happy Salmon. We play Rhino Hero. You know, we play games like
game
that.
too.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. But dude's one of my best friends. I love him. I would die for him. Yeah, I would do whatever I need to do for him, right? If he was in trouble. Drop everything. Not a board gamer. Doesn't watch this. Whatever, right? But this is what we are passionate about.
Yeah.
You know, we're here doing this because we are passionate. You know, so like legit, Mike, honest, dude, Stuff Legend. I saw Stuff Legend. I was legit excited about it.
They did a great. Game Trays did a great job making sure, like, and the team made sure that everything was like all the I's were dotted and the T's were crossed to make sure that looked like a toy box and the colors were right and everything fit properly and the sculpts were good and the board would like everything about that. It just, not to brag on 3WS, but a good publisher will make sure that those details, like I said, we did the exploded view of how to put the shit back in the box, like. Those little details of making sure that you're going to have a good experience, not only on the table, but even to the point of putting your fucking game away.
Like, but let me just say it, Mike. Own it, dude. Own it.
Sure.
Dude, you and you guys being like actually caring about it, own it, because that's super important. I think that like we talk about, I've talked about Mechs vs. Minions on this show before.
Right here.
Not a board game company, right? That's a video game company, but that is a company of dudes that actually plays board games, and legitimately care about the insert. You know, they're real board gamers because they care about the insert.
Yep.
At the time that game came out, probably 5 years ago, right? Mechs vs. Minions.
7,
they were like really the front runners in like an amazing insert for a game, unasked. Nobody demanded that, right? They released that limited release on their own website. Hey, we've got X amount of copies. We're putting out 500 copies. That insert was money from day one. That wasn't oh, hey, we need to fix some stuff because we realized there were some problems with our first edition. No, dude. 6 years ago, they were like right out of the gates running. They were amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Because that was a company of gamers that appreciated what's up. So, Mike,
Perfect timing. So I guess I'll do a little caveat. There are games that don't have those amazing inserts and have the exploded view of how to put shit away and have hiccups in their rule books or whatever. And that's not to say that those companies are shit and those companies don't care about the game and they don't care about the people playing the game and they don't care about the industry. It kind of seems like there's a divide between that, and there isn't. We're all doing it because we all have a love and a passion in the industry. There are just some that, unfortunately, there are some that come across as paying attention to detail a little bit more than others. Whether it is in making sure the rule book set up properly or the insert is actually useful.
No, and so Mike, what I was just gonna say is when you guys do it right, own it. because you deserve to own it. That's a bragging point.
Well, because if we did it wrong, right, we'd have the other end of the spectrum there, right? Shitting on us for doing it wrong. So when you do it right, do it right. Like make sure you do it right.
And I will say regarding rule books is there is times where there's language barriers.
Sure.
Sometimes you get a European game that's not in English. So for us, the rule book.
Yep. There it is. The rule book's here. Yeah, there could be a language barrier. There could be a translation error. There could be what's the game we were just talking about? Jeremy was talking about Tomb, EOMB. And then they had Tomb Crypt Keeper or something. And I think the rule book Crypt Keeper was supposed to fix the rule book from Tomb. I don't know what the thing is, but it looked like it was a lost in translation. Like it was English translated to French, translated to English, and then in that translate, it just screwed some shit up. And that happens, right? That's why you have FAQs on BGG, and you have videos you can watch, and whatever. There's fixes for it.
No, there's fixes, right? I get the rule book being translated over from not English, right, and vice versa. It's not always going to be great.
Sure.
But those things can be fixed either by BGG, FAQ, things like that.
Sure. For sure. I mean, we did it with Batman. We had the rule book was a rule book, and it was not a well done rule book, and it speaks a lot to not only the people putting it together, but the people that are publishing it. And there were a lot of questions because things could be interpreted or read certain ways. So Richard and I had to put together a couple like, hey, this is what we meant by this, or this is what this was supposed to do, or whatever.
I mean, it happens. It totally happens. It happens. Oh, I love this.
Outpost from Daryl and John. You can't beat the game. It was published without it was published incorrectly. You cannot beat it, and it suffered from that.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Yeah, rule books.
100%. And Jason gave me a segue into my number 3.
Reckoners is amazing.
Or no, my number 4.
Are we still on 4? Tim, shut up.
4.
What's your number 4?
No shit, dude. My number 4 is Reckoners.
Oh, no shit.
No, listen. I literally just last week bought the Brandon Sanderson book titled Steelheart, which is what the series is that Reckoners is based on.
Yeah.
I have seen Reckoners. I've seen the beautiful deluxe edition of Reckoners. I have never played Reckoners. I am dying to frickin' play Reckoners. Reckoners looks so good, dude. So good.
I would argue Trouble should be the next one that you play, and Reckoners should be right there. Like if you can play them in the same night. Reckoners is the quality of the components. I think it's Navu. Is it Navu Games that does that one?
I think so. That sounds right.
The quality of the components is amazing. It doesn't matter if you have the acrylic pieces or the metal pieces. The way the trays work, the way the stuff is manipulated, the way you're going around New Chicago, everything about that game as a cooperative game, it's phenomenal. And I do not know the IP.
Sure.
I'm not familiar with the novels. I'm not familiar with it, but that game is unreal. It's so good.
Yeah, dude, like literally I just bought the book because I have friends that love the Reckoners. I'm a reader, I'm a nerd, I get it. And I also I've almost bought that game a few times, but I want to get the deluxe edition and not just the regular version. So I've held out.
Yeah, you don't need the metal bits though. The acrylic, I'll tell you, the acrylic in the base game, I think I like them better. I like the metal. It feels good, but I like the color of the acrylic. Okay.
Hey, you might have just sped up my acquisition.
Get it to the table. It is. You'll learn it. Like it'll take a minute to learn. And if you could teach it from someone they said they'll learn it.
I've got friends that know how to play it for sure.
Great. Yeah, definitely get that thing to the table. It's so.
I love difficult co-ops. I love difficult co-ops. I just love digging in there and just feeling as a team. And if you get that win, as a group, ooh, that feels so good.
It's great. even and again, I don't know the IP, but the concept of everybody you're fighting is I think they call them epics. They're all superpowered, but they're all bad, and you're not.
The concept is Superman sits down in Chicago and just says, "I'm the king of this.
Yep.
Good luck."
Yeah.
And then it's up to the Batman.
The epics, they're all bad. They're all they use their powers for bad. So for you, as somebody who's
Batman versus the Justice League.
Yeah, you have to do the research and you have to. It's great,
dude. Well, come on, Mike. You should have. I know. I should have known you'd love
10
this.
Minutes late.
I know you should have loved this because it's Batman. We got a Third World Studios.
Where was he 10 minutes ago when you were like talking about Stuff of Legend?
I know, right? Well, I imagine that that is why he's commenting. Because Stuff of Legend was literally my last pick.
Yep.
And yeah. And just so David knows, yes, I freaking love Ghost Stories. It's so hard. It's so mean. But the thing that some people don't like getting smacked around by a really hard co-op. You know, they get a little bitter. I don't have to win. But when I do win, if it's really like hard fought and everything, God, it just feels so good.
Yeah.
It just feels so good.
Yeah, Ghost Stories is another one I don't think I've ever beaten, but I always want to play it. Fuse too by Renegade is another co-op.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever beaten. Like it's super challenging.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Here we go, Bobby. Bobby's on it. Bobby's on it.
Just go to Kickstarter and look up the Stuff of Legend, and you'll have a link there.
Reckoners. Wait, what? What theme would a game the Reckoners have? Wrong Reckoners. He's joking. He's messing with me. Hold on. He's messing with me. He's messing with me.
I was just going to talk about that.
But yeah, man. Back to Dan's comment. We literally just ranted about you guys for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Now I did rant about it to a representative of the company.
Sure.
Oh,
it's real. I'm witness, DeVito. I'm witness.
But I would have done it anyways. And that was my point. But Reckoners is my number 4. I'm going to be right back. Mike, go on with your number 4. I'll be right back. I'm going to be listening. So I'll hear everything. No pressure. I'll hear everything you say.
Great. Awesome. Okay. Well, I don't know what you're doing, and I don't know what you're listening to, and I don't know where I should go with this one. I don't want to do my number 4 while you're not on the thing. That's kind of weird. I mean, I guess I could, but I want to see his reaction. I don't even know what my number 4 is going to be. Yeah, but Bob, just go on Kickstarter. Some destinations won't get comments. What? That's cool. Evan, good to see you. I hope all is well. We'll talk soon. What else is there? Things of No, I don't know that one. Oh, Lost Expedition's another one. Man, all right. I guess I'll start talking my number 4. I don't even know what my number 4 should be. All right, well, whatever. So this one, I guess the licensing went back to the company, or they somehow reacquired their own thing. But there were a bunch of Clank games that I enjoyed prior to Catacombs coming out. And I love the Clank games. I love the concept. I love the making noise. I love the deck building. I love the different scenarios you can get. The Clank in space, like all of the Clank was great. And then Catacombs hit, and I was kind of like, really? Like modular board system? Like, I don't know about that. And then everything I've seen about it has been good, and I have it, and it's in shrink, and I haven't played it. So Clank, and if anybody in the chat has played the new Clank, with the modular board system, and has anything to say about why I need to get that higher on my list, let me know. But that would be my number 4 would be Clank Catacombs.
Dude, I was listening the whole time. I freaking love Clank Catacombs. I know that some people that love Clank don't love it because it's harder. It's harder to get out. Like, because in Clank, you get above ground, you see it the whole time. But because of Clank Catacombs, those tiles come out, right? And you're like, boom, boom, boom. And you've got to really, oh my gosh. Sometimes they're one way, you know, so you got to keep bringing out more tiles, right? And then
Yeah.
spread out the map. I love Clank Catacombs, and you gave me a great segue.
But wait. Is it different or better than the original Clanks?
That's how.
That's what I want to know.
You're
Like,
putting me on the spot,
Clank,
dude.
it's doing the Clank stuff. I get it, but now they're introduced, and this is the reason why I haven't played Arkham Third, is because they do the modular board. Right now, they have the location
Okay.
with the trail, and I guess I'm a purist with Arkham Second, that I enjoy the map and I enjoy going to the different locations. I
Yeah.
don't know
Okay.
why they needed to do the modular system, and I don't know why Clank needed, unless they had to revamp it for licensing reasons.
Yeah,
which I
because
understand.
Direwolf split from Renegade, so you need to like have something new. Here's the
Sure.
thing. I think I like both Arkham 2 and Arkham 3.
Okay.
Right? I think the modular board is interesting. For Arkham Horror 3. Haven't played near as much Arkham Horror 3 as I have 2. I think 2 is an excellent game. I love it. But I also kind of, that has to be a game that can't be just like I show up and somebody's like, oh, hey, want to play Arkham Horror? Like, no. I need to show up and be like, we're playing Arkham Horror. Got it.
Okay.
Boom. I'm in the mindset. Because when I play Arkham Horror, and I think it's just because I played it so much, it's like, I want to freaking win this game.
Right.
Like, no, we're going to get through. I'm in the mindset. Like, we're making optimal moves. I want to do this because I love Arkham Horror is tough, and I love beating it. It is like a medal, right? It is a trophy on my mantle when I can win Arkham Horror, especially if I can do it tight, right? Like, bam. So third edition's a little different because of the modular board.
Right.
It's harder to make as many educated decisions and choices as you would make, right? So the other side of me, though, is I love playing fast and loose, right? So a game like Clank is faster, right? It's not the time commitment that Arkham Horror can be. And that's not a dig on Arkham Horror. It's just two different styles.
Sure.
So when I played Catacombs, and I've got like this wild, like, who knows what's coming up next? I'm like, I'm here for it, baby. Let's go. And I love the randomness of it. So if you can handle the randomness of what's going to happen in Clank Catacombs, it's a great time. I can jam with it, right? There's just so much variety. You never know what's coming. You know, you can try to plan for stuff, but no guarantees. So I love Clank Catacombs. I think it's a great time. I have friends that do not love it near as much as I do because it can be harder. It's meaner. It'll slap you down, you know, but okay, so you don't like how much it forces you to build swords in your deck. Yeah, I get that as well. I think if you have got a lot of movement in your deck, you're going to be good. Swords do help. I'm not going to lie. But I think that those things are great. I think Bob here is talking about Third World Studios and Stuff Legend.
Oh. Really?
Well, hey, Bob, good news. I know a guy. I'll find out for you. But I will say though, dude, I thoroughly enjoyed Clank Catacombs. I had a great time with it. I was very happy with it, but I also love the randomness of it, right? And Clank is one of my all-time favorite games. Don't get me wrong. I love Clank. I love deck builders. I love the board. I love the press your luck aspect of that, right?
Yeah.
How deep can I go? How long can I hang out? If I dip out of this early, am I going to be able to kill these guys so they don't score more points than me? I love that. I think that's great. I'm here for it. There is yet to be a version of Clank that I don't absolutely love.
Okay.
But I do think that in space, regular Clank and Catacombs almost are all different experiences, right?
Okay.
You know, they kind of give you different flavors of the same game, right? Because even Clank and Space is a modular board, right? So you can tweak that a little bit. You can kind of mess with that. You're going to get a little bit of a different experience every time you play. The
Yeah.
Clank expansions I've enjoyed. You know, I think they're fine. I don't usually when I'm teaching new people, I just lay out basic Clank.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I know they're going to have a good time playing it. I'm going to have a good time playing it.
Right.
And I think it can be competitive even with experienced players.
Right.
Because you still have to gamble whether you're going to be able to get in and out. Ooh, I hit that mic. Whether you're going to get in and out, right, in time,
Sure.
or do you get out too soon?
Sure.
And I love that gamble. I love that part of the game and that judgment call you've got to make, you know, on the fly. And so for me, Catacombs is like that to the nth degree, because you've really got to like, it's like, okay, man, fast and loose. It's just fast and loose. So if you can hang with that experience and you're going to have a good time either way, then you're fine. If that doesn't jive with you, if you don't think you're going to like that, I'm going to tell you, just stay with the other Clanks. You're still going to have a great time. No problem.
Right. Okay.
But Catacombs, man, it's a little more willy-nilly. You know, it's a little more like, but I definitely.
I don't mind the luck. I don't mind the luck fest, right? As long as there's some, if you're going into it knowing it's just pure luck, fine. If there's luck and there's some mitigation to it, then fine. But
well, and the thing is, you can mitigate your luck on how you build your deck.
Sure. But to a certain level, yeah.
To a level. A level.
Right.
Like so Dan said, right? He doesn't like how reliant it is on having swords in your deck, right? You know, the combat.
Right.
You don't always, I mean, you're not always going to run into that being a necessity.
Sure.
But it's good to have.
Sure.
And I think also because of the nature of the game with the tiles, my brain, I will project onto everyone else. It makes you think you need to have more movement than regular Clank.
Okay.
And that's not true. That's not true. You can still balance and you don't have to push full movement. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I just got to run through this whole damn dungeon as fast as I can. No, same rules apply. Like, be ready to move through those tough spaces where you've got the monster icons, right? I've got to have combat to be able to get through this.
Right.
And they add this whole other aspect with lockpicks. So it's unlocking things. But when you unlock it permanently. Yeah. So like in Clank, when you move through a space that's got that lock on it and you've got the a key, you're good. Only you can move through that.
Right.
In Catacombs, you have a lockpick. I'm going to spend a lockpick to unlock that door. That door is now unlocked for everybody. Now, not everybody's going to be following the same path you are. A lot of times, people are going completely different ways.
Right.
You know, and there's a whole press. To me, it Catacombs feels more press your luck.
Yeah.
Than the other Clanks. I love press your luck.
Okay.
So for me, it works. It jives. I love that version of Clank. But I feel like if you also have that knowledge going in, you're going to have a better experience anyways than you would normally, you know, whether you love it or not. It still may not end up being your favorite version of Clank, but I think having that information, knowing what you're getting into, it's going to set the stage a little bit better. There you go, Bobby.
Oh, see, I don't even know what I'm talking about. I thought the Pledge Manager was still open. Maybe not.
So, hey, Bob, you want to get your hands on a copy of Stuff of Legends? I know a guy who could probably make that happen. So, I'm just saying.
Maybe.
Not saying I know a guy, but I know a guy who could probably tell you, hey, here's what we need to do to make that happen. I know a guy who knows a guy.
Knows a couple guys. Yep.
Yeah.
To Ginger's point up there with Dragon Quest, or Dungeon Quest. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Yep. Right there.
Have you played Dungeon Quest?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm learning it for the first time, and you draw the tile, and you go into the room, and you draw another tile. Second tile I draw is that rotating 180 degrees. Right? Puts me right up against the wall. It's got a flame, so I can search it twice, but I don't get the secret entrance. Couldn't get out of the room. Like, all right, well, that sucks. Reshuffled, right? Did it again. First tile I draw, second round, was a fucking pit. I rolled a 1 and died. My first 2 experiences with that game. But going into that game, you know it's going to be luck, right? It's going to be pulling from a deck, and you're going to find a corpse. Do you want to search the corpse? Do you want to go in the crypt? Like, all those things just kind of makes that game fun, but you're walking into it knowing it's going to be that kind of luck fest, right?
Yeah, I think that Catacombs does a really good job of all of the tiles. I've yet to run into a tile that you're like, oh, I'm screwed. Like this doesn't work for me at all.
Okay.
You may have to backtrack a little bit.
That's accurate.
But
that's accurate.
But yeah, see, I know Bob. I know my friends.
We'll figure it out. Bob, do you go to Origins or are you going to Gen Con?
He's part of the show. He'll be at Origins and Gen Con. He'll be there.
Great. We'll get it. We'll do a pickup. I'll have copies at Origins. I'll have copies at Gen Con. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, Bobby, we're gonna make that happen, buddy. We're gonna make that happen. It will not be because we don't want a copy. Let me just say that.
Good.
But no, I think Clank Catacombs, very specifically, I think that they do not. I have yet to encounter a tile. I don't want to say that it will never happen, but I've yet to encounter a situation where I'm done, I'm toast, no good.
Okay. All right.
And let me just answer this. This is the most important question that has been asked all night. That is Notre Dame's transfer quarterback. He's going to throw for over 4,000 yards and have 37 touchdowns. Let's just shoot the moon.
I will take the under.
Yeah, you should. Because that would be an undeniable Heisman Trophy winner right there. Are we on our number 3?
Yes.
Okay. My number 3, no bullshit, is apropos, directly connected to your number 4. I own Clank Acquisitions Incorporated, aka Clank Legacy.
Right.
Still in shrink. Have not played. I got to play this damn game. I'm so excited to play this game.
Yeah, as a Clank lover, I'm surprised you haven't experienced that yet.
Here's the thing, Mike, is this game I love so much. I want to make sure I play with the group that I'm going to be able to finish the dang thing.
Sure.
I do not want to play 3 rounds of Clank Legacy and then be like, oh, we're done. No, yeah. Hell no. No. We're finishing this thing because I love this freaking game. Like, no way. No way, man.
That makes sense.
I gotta get it all the way through. I don't care who with. I don't have to play to win. I want to experience that game. I want to be in it. I want to breathe it in. So Clank Legacy. It was so funny when I ran upstairs and you're like, oh, Clank Catacombs, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, what an amazing segue.
Perfect.
For me. So yeah. Perfect. Clank Legacy.
Okay. That's a good one.
That's what's up, man. Clank Legacy. Haven't played it. Dying to play it.
All right.
That's my number 3.
That's a good number 3. And they were just talking about AI2 coming. So
I know. And now the other one's coming. It's like, well, holy crap. Now I really I got to get on it.
Well, like, I mean, should you even play 1 if 2 is coming? You should just wait for 2.
No, I got to play both, but binge it. Get both. Yeah. Binge and then play them in order with the same group. Why cheat myself of the experience?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I agree. Did he buffer right then? That's great. Yep. Yeah, that's a good concern playing legacy games, right, with the same group. running through, pandemic, 12 months of pandemic and stopping in March. And you're like, well, what the hell happened to the story? Right.
Yeah, I
Or
don't.
Mice and Mystics. You start running the scenarios in Mice and Mystics, and all of a sudden where's the story?
My mic is literally sitting on the sequel to Mice and Mystics.
Oh, nice. Tail feathers.
Yeah.
Nice.
I
I
love
love
Mice and
Mice and
Mystics.
Mystics. The lore, the story of what was going on was great, and I got behind it immediately. But that initiative order where you shuffle the cards, you put them out, and every round, the people that could act are acting in different ways. You could have the villains go, and then all of us respond. We could all go, then the villains respond. It could be
Right.
it was such a it was
It's a really well designed game, amazing theme, amazing story. That is a game that I bought that I was like, if I only ever play this with my kids when they get old enough, it's worth it.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
Great.
I have stuffed Fables for the same reason.
Yeah, that you could throw out though.
Oh, is it not good?
Stuff Fables?
Yeah.
We'll talk off air.
Okay. I got it really cheap. I didn't spend a lot of money on it, but
that's fine. Which makes it better. But we'll talk. We'll talk.
All right, man. What's your number 3? Hit me with your 3.
I'm gonna go with Vagrant Song.
Oh, it's so good. It's so much fun.
I love looking at it. I love the concept of it. I tried to set it up and play through it, and I fell victim of the rule book. I just lost interest in trying to go through the rule book. But I need to play it because I love it. The art looks great. The acrylic standees are great. It looks, and I haven't heard a bad thing about it.
I've only played one scenario. Loved it. And let me just tell you, Mike, it's not as hard as you think it is. Right?
No, it doesn't. It's like Twilight Imperium. It's not a complicated game. Right.
No, it's easy. Once you sit down to play it, you're like, oh, I got this.
Sure.
Yeah. And it's really good. The art is amazing. The standees and the components of that game.
Yep.
Freaking top notch. Weird Studios, right? Weird Studios. WIRD.
Yep.
Great. And no, David, have not played through any of the expansions. I've got the base game. I played the first 2 missions aside from my kids, and then haven't played anything else because the group I was playing that with kind of play other stuff. And I was like, I'll play this with my kids. I'm going to hold on to this game and I'll just play it later. But dude, Vagrant Song, man. Oh, Vagrant Song it's really cool. Yeah. It's really cool. And the theme is awesome.
They also have a game, and the concept of it was great, by Kevin, called Darkness Comes Rattling. And
oh, dude, that game's been on my want-to playlist for ages. Yeah. That's the same guys?
That's weird. Yeah. But it's designed by Kevin Wilson. Yeah.
Dude, that game's been on my list for years.
I mean, it's been around for a while, right? It's definitely it's been out there, but I don't think it got I don't think it got its deserved play or the time in the spotlight. Mm-hmm. It has, the components are great, the storyline is great, love the lore, but it has one of the coolest moments in games where somebody at the table, it's cooperative, and the idea is there's a snake that's eating the sun, and it goes to, like, there's a whole story about it,
right?
Like a myth around it. But there comes a moment in the game where somebody at the table has to decide to jump into the snake's mouth to save the sun, and they become like the savior kind of person. But that choice of, like, do I have enough to go into that to do the thing is really cool. It's a super underrated game.
Dude, that game, no BS, has been on my Amazon wish list for years.
Get it. It's always, they always have it at conventions. They always have it at conventions.
Oh my God. The box cover to that game looks amazing.
Yep.
And I believe it was like a Secret Cabal podcast talked about that. And that's a show I've listened to for ages. And I was in, and then I saw the box cover and I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And hearing them describe the game, and now you're bringing it up, and it's like,
get it. Just get it. You'll like it.
Dude, I gotta play that game. Good stuff. And David, I don't know. I could see where some of the scenarios for Vagrant Song get hard, and I'm fine with that.
Sure.
I like the grizzled. I like difficult co-ops. I like ghost stories. So, and then Tail Feathers I honestly haven't
Sure.
played, but I picked it up because it was a sequel spiritual anyway, at the very least, to Mice and Mystics. It was at a con for a price I couldn't refuse. And I'm like, you know what? If I have this game and I sit on it for 10 years, I sit on it.
Well, now they have Aftermath too, right? Which is similar.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah,
Oh
it's good stuff.
my gosh.
Yeah, so
Okay.
Vagrant Song. I haven't seen a bad thing about it. I like that they have all those little packs that are like for the narrator's eyes only or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I love it. It looks great. It looks very well done. I like the narrative. I like those games that have narratives. So that's one that's on my I need to get it to the fucking table.
I'm looking at my copy of Vagrant Song, like right over there.
Yeah,
right over there. And man, what a cool, it's beautiful, dude. The game's beautiful. The theme is super cool, unique, you know, like nothing like it. There's nothing like that game in your collection, you know, and that's something to be said.
Yeah, with so many games coming out every year, to find that uniqueness of a game, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they did it.
Yeah.
Weird Games did a really good job with that. Really good job with that.
Well, it's like the Shivers that I brought up earlier, right? My number 7. The idea of, pop-up book with like interchangeable things that give you clues or like that's just
it's so cool. Yeah. It's so cool. All right, my number two, since David is asking, my number 2 is a game that it's at the top of the show. We talked about Grail games. This is a game that got a reprint in the time that it has been a game that I have been obsessed with, wanting to have and play. And that is 1960, The Making of a President.
Oh, wow.
So this is a 2-player game as far as I know. And you're playing, basically you're playing through the election of Kennedy, John Kennedy versus Nixon. And I'm a nerd, dude. I love history. The amazing thing about politics, let me just say this without being controversial. The amazing thing about politics is that there is stuff from the 1960 election that affects politics today. The stuff that you will see in politics today really will not matter till 10, 20, 30, 40 years from now. You know, like the real ramifications of choices made, it will be years down the line before you really see the effects of that, like really see the effects. And I remember being at a convention, seeing that game played, and I'm like, what? And that was an interesting election anyways, just because of Nixon being sort of the establishment. He was already a vice president. He was a governor of California. He was a well-known commodity, right? And then you have JFK, who kind of comes out of nowhere and takes the election. Now, granted, he was killed early, right? Way too soon. Nobody should be killed. But he was assassinated, right? Way too early. And so you don't really know what could have really happened.
Yeah.
But just the intrigue of that, how that game could play. I haven't played it. I don't know how really it plays. I played Campaign Manager 2008 or whatever. Fantastic game. Love it because it takes real life scenarios and applies it in there. And it's a super cool 2-player game. But the 1960 Making of President, totally fascinating to me. Got a reprint recently. Still have not got my hands on it. But the second I see one for a reasonable price, I'm buying that son of a bitch, because whether that game is awesome or whether it sucks, I don't care. I want it. I want to play it. I want to try it. I'm dying to play it. Awesome segment of history anyways, to kind of explore and learn about. And again, that's me. That's my personal taste. Think it's super cool. Dying to play it. Dying to try it. Super excited about it.
Have you played
Weird? No. Holy shit. Dan on the show. Dan, my friend, loves Watergate. Again, honestly, legitimately way more interesting period of time in presidential history than 1960. Watergate. Holy crap, dude. I would love to play that just because it's like, oh, this should happen at this time. Oh, this so and so should have done such and such. Right. I love that. And again, you talk about stuff from 50 years ago, 40 plus years ago, affecting contemporary politics. You don't even have to care that much about it. Interesting game anyways. But stuff from early 70s, early to mid 70s affecting like present day.
Yes.
It legit. And and I don't care what your politics are or what your beliefs are. I just find that stuff fascinating and super interesting because that literally is like fulcrum points in history, which tilt things one way or the other. No, dude, Watergate totally fascinates me. Dying to play Watergate again, 2-player game. And I know Dan loves it. I think it's Dan who is Gamer Shelter in the comments. I think that's his favorite 2-player game of all time.
Really?
Yeah, and I love it. Star Wars Rebellion is my favorite 2-player game of all time. It's the best. For me, it's the best. But Watergate, it seems so exciting, so interesting. And again, I love the I just love the history. I love just seeing where shit can go, trying it out. So you like Watergate? You've played Watergate?
I have not. I've heard nothing but good things about it.
Okay. Yeah. I wasn't sure if you loved it or not, or played it or not.
It would have been on my list, but I want to play it. I haven't heard a bad thing about it.
Yeah. So, Watergate again could have been on my list. Honestly, legit could have been on my list. But I have been obsessed with 1960 Making of President since I've heard of it. And that was probably 2014.
Yeah, sure.
So it has been sort of a grill game for so long. And Paul, thank you for being kind to me. I do get worked up and excited about stuff. That's just my nature.
That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
But, Mike, that's the whole thing is we get worked up. We're passionate about this. Yeah. That's why it's fun. Yeah. And hopefully that's what makes us watchable. It's because we're excited and passionate.
Sure. But yeah, that level of excitement, that level of you can tell when someone's being genuine about something, and you can tell when someone's being paid to talk good about something. Right?
For sure. You're gonna love that. You're gonna love that, Mike, with my number 1.
Oh, great. I can't wait.
You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it with my number 1.
Great. Okay.
AKA, you're gonna hate it.
Oh God. Why would you do that to me?
Specifically for you.
Oh God.
Okay, so what's your number 2?
I don't even know where to go with that information now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, PC was good. I don't think I don't know if it follows.
No,
it might.
Rebellion, the PC game? Is Rebellion where you were dude, okay. I didn't play the PC game near as much as I wanted to, but let me tell you, the board game, we talked about this recently, and the board game is like playing through an alternate history of the movies. Everything that happens in the movies can happen in the board game, but it may not happen at the same time or to the same person. Star Wars Rebellion, to me, is the best representation of a Star Wars game that I've ever played. And Star Wars being one of my favorite things in the world, to have that, right? To have that experience conveyed through a board game. Thank you. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
Good.
And Paul, hey, dude,
cool.
You can't ask for a higher compliment, right? Like, if anything, we're excited about the stuff we talk about. And that we come across as genuine. Cannot ask for a higher compliment. Whether they agree with us or not. Right? I mean, that's the thing, Mike. We don't have to love the same games.
Nope.
But we're excited about the shit we love, right?
Yep.
That's all that matters.
Well, it's also, so many games coming out a year that it's okay to not like a game because there's probably hundreds of more games like it that you will like. So,
Too true. Too
Mhm.
true. Too
Yeah.
true. All right, Mike, what's your number 2?
I honestly, I don't know.
Ish.
Yeah, I want to go with Lacrimosa, I think, for my number 2.
Ooh, haven't
Yeah,
played it.
haven't either. I think
Obviously.
Devere's been killing it lately. I think they're one of the companies that if their name is on, I picked up I don't even know how to pronounce it. Savernake Forest.
Yeah,
Sure, because it
that's
had
how
Devere
I'd
on
say
it.
it.
I know nothing of the game. I just saw Devere, and I think they've been making they're coming out with the White Castle, which unfortunately is not about the burger joint, which I would also throw
Dude,
money at.
White Castle. Anything with White Castle, I'm in.
Yep, if you
I
know, you
knew
know.
I loved my wife because we will drive 45 minutes to eat White Castle on a date night.
Love
I
it.
get it. I get
Love
it,
it.
dude.
I wish I had a White Castle 45 minutes from me.
I get it.
But yeah, they're coming out with the White Castle, which is the spiritual successor to Red Cathedral. So anything that Devere's name is on, I'll go for it. And Lacrimosa is heavy. It's like Batoku heavy. But the art's beautiful. The components look great. It's another one of those games that when I see somebody talking about it, they have nothing but good things to say about it. So it's been, since I've gotten it, it's been on my, I need to bring it to the table list, and I just haven't had a chance to do it.
Dude, great pick. Great pick.
It's beautiful. The cover is great. I love the red. I love so nice.
Well, and again, we literally just did an episode where we talk about how box art can make or break a game, and whether that's fair or not. Okay, because Concordia, one of my all-time favorite games, terrible box art. Terrible box art.
Yep.
Right. I bought so many not my favorite games because, well, the box looks amazing.
Yeah.
The description's good enough.
Sure.
But the art is amazing. Not always totally fair.
What a bad experience too, right? If you buy a game because it looks great and the back is like, oh, it sounds awesome. Then you open it up and not only do the components don't look like they don't match the cover art, right? They don't look right. And then the gameplay is subpar and it just didn't, like, it kind of tricked you. What a horrible feeling, because now you're going to tell other people, no, stay away from that game. Oh, but it looks so pretty. Yeah, but that's not good either.
Yeah. Well, true, right? And there's definitely two sides to that coin, right? Ugly, but great game.
Sure.
That's a thing. Beautiful looking, terrible game.
Right.
Two sides of that coin. Sure. Totally. Because for anybody watching that cares, next week, so this week we will have an episode coming out, top 10 favorite box covers.
Nice.
And so that can include games we have not played, but the box art makes us want to play that game.
Sure.
Next week, we are doing an episode which is ugliest box covers, which is, I know it's going to be salty. It's going to be salty because it's going to be either a game we love, spoiler alert, Concordia, ugly box cover, I love it, or a game I have not played because the box art is so bad.
It's a deterrent, right? It could get you.
No, well, seriously, Mike, if I sit down, listen, if I walked into QSCon tomorrow, you had Concordia set up and you're like, this is how this game plays. I'm like, that sounds like a game for me. I sit down, I play it. You show me the box cover and I go, oh, I never would have bought this game.
Yeah, sure.
Right? Concordia is either, depending on the day you ask me, my number 1 or number 2 favorite game of all time.
Yeah,
I love Concordia. That box art put me off so long, from playing that game.
That's Chris's number 1 too. Like Concordia is his favorite game.
See, I knew I liked the dude. I do. So, but I mean, it's a legitimate thing, and it's not. I'm really honestly not trying to crap on a designer or even an artist, because all art is subjective. Somebody's going to see that Concordia art and go, that's amazing. Somebody's going to see that Looking for Troubles art and go, nope, not for me. For me, I think that's fun. I look at the Boop box art and I'm like, that looks awesome. You know, it looks so stupid and fun. I'm in. I'm here for it. And there's going to be hardcore gamers that are like, no thanks.
Yeah.
And they might be missing out on a really good, thinky puzzle game.
For sure. And it might not even come down to the designer.
You know, and that's
not be their art. There you go. So yeah, the designer, like when a designer submits their game to a publisher, the game that's published might not even be the designer's projection. It might not be what they wanted, right? So Concordia, right. I'm sure the designer of Concordia wasn't like, I want this horrible box art or like Kalis, like the cover of Kalis.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, I want the most drab, or what's the one that gets with it looks like there's a pilgrim on the cover. Hamburg, I think it is.
Oh,
another
right,
one that looks
right.
just shitty. I'm sure the game is great, but like, do you really want the worst box art?
The Concordia designers like, please give me a lady holding grapes buying from some other merchant in the Mediterranean. No, they don't make those. They don't make those decisions.
But we're also we're judging Concordia based on modern board games, right? Like the cover of Lacrimosa made this year or 2022 it can't be compared to the cover of Concordia, which was what, 14?
Right. So again, totally fair, right? Because games designed 10, 15, even 5 years ago should not be held to the same standard, at least in presentation.
Sure.
Because I would say inserts, you shouldn't judge a game 5 years old necessarily on the insert because they weren't as important as they are now. Especially if it's
upgraded material and stuff. Sure, that makes sense.
Especially if it's hit Kickstarter, right? Sure. Components wise, things like that, right?
Yeah.
Because we are all older gamers, I should say, preface that. Older gamers, we're conditioned to the Fantasy Flight well, you know, or whatever garbage vacuum form, you know, Monopoly, whatever that we get.
Sure.
And it's like, oh, the second I actually care about these components and try to put them where they go, it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, oh, I want to preserve this game so I can play it more than 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because old Milton Bradley games weren't designed like that.
No.
I mean, and that's fine. That's fine.
Yep.
The industry and the hobby has evolved.
Yeah.
You should rise up to that.
I hope so. Yeah.
Holy crap. Are we to number 1?
That was Lacrimosa was my number 2. I didn't write it down, but yeah.
All right. Mike, you're gonna hate my number 1. You're gonna hate it so much.
I don't know where you're going with this one.
You're gonna hate my number 1. My number 1 is designed by one of my favorite designers, Richard Lanius.
Don't do this. Come on, it can't be your number 1.
Mike, I talked about one of the games I am getting that I'm so excited about getting from Kickstarter. It's scheduled to arrive Saturday, and that is the newest DC deck builder.
Right.
I freaking love comic books. When I got into this hobby and there were games based on comic books and IPs that I love. Now, granted, I'm still waiting for a RoboCop game, and I'm not talking the new RoboCop with Joel Kinnaman as the star. I'm talking Peter Weller, Paul Verhoeven. I'd buy that for $1. RoboCop. Like, I'm still waiting for that game. The second I get that game, that's my number 1. But it's until then, because that's the game I want to play the most. And yeah, sure, I'm catering to company, but this is a game I'm legit excited and interested to play. And it was only spiked by the unfortunate and way too soon demise of Kevin Conroy, who really personified Batman in a way that I thought only Michael Keaton could do. Okay. You already know where I'm going with this, Mike. You already know where I'm going with this. Dude, I'm so jealous, dude. The game I want to play the most, and let me just say this. I was at Gen Con last year. I was at the Mission Control booth talking to those guys. I was so excited to talk to those guys. And then while I was waiting for them to be free, I started talking to somebody from Third World Studios. I started talking to this guy, and not only did I have an instant connection with this dude, and I thought he was super cool and really just was enjoying the conversation we were having, but then found out he designed a game. And then found out he designed a game with with a designer who has designed one of my favorite games, Defenders of the Realm, and also I love Defenders of the Last Stand, Richard Lanius. And I've never met him personally, but my brother-in-law has an amazing Richard Lanius story to tell, and has this story to tell about this guy who is so awesome to him and provided such a great experience early on in his gaming hobby, right? So I'm in the bag for Richard Lanius. So I'm talking to this guy. And he's telling me about this game he designed. It's based on an IP that I'm already in the bag for. Batman, the animated series. I'm excited about it. I'm like, what? Richard Lanius? Holy shit. Like, yes, please. Because again, Richard Lanius designed the Pandemic Killer. I cannot play a Pandemic game and be like, it's not better than Defenders of the Realm or Defenders of the Last Stand for me. And that's not a dig on those guys. Those guys have made amazing games, and what they have done for the hobby is incredible. Sure. But Richard Lanius hit the mark for me. Mm-hmm. And now I'm talking to a dude that has worked directly with Richard Lanius and has made a game. And I'm like, wait, what? You made a game with Richard Lanius? And I don't know if he's around or if he's watching tonight, but I'm just going to say Gotham City Under Siege. Dude, I got to play this fucking game. Mike.
Let's play it.
Dude, it was so cool to meet somebody that, listen, I'm not Tom Vassell, obviously, right? I'm not Rado. I'm not Rodney. You know, I don't know everybody under God's green earth and know all these designers and stuff. But when I meet somebody that not only has collaborated with a designer that I absolutely love, hands down, like top 5 games for me, absolutely love, but it also has made a game and an IP that I adore and love. And it's like, dude, wait, what? Like, hold on. Mike, it was so cool meeting you and knowing, like, once I learned, I know you're going to hate this, and I don't care. It was like, this is awesome. This is awesome for me. I got to play this freaking game. Listen, Mike, if it's terrible, it's terrible. I don't care. I cannot wait to get my hands on this game and play it. I really can't. I've been excited since Gen Con, because the thing is when you meet games, or when you meet people that have designed games, it's like, well, I want to play their game, because then at least I know, right? And I've met people that I have not always 100% loved. You know, it's like, well, if I play their game, I play their game. But then you meet people you're excited about, and you're like, no, this dude, me and him, like, we jive, right? We get like it's not to say that other people don't get it, because they jive with other people. They're going to land with other people. But like me and this dude, we're like on the wavelength, like instant connection. And when you're like, oh, I made a game, it's like, well, holy shit, I got to play that game. And wait, what? It's a game I've heard of? Wait, what? It's a game I know about already? Dude, I'm going to put you on the spot. But I've been excited. The second that this was the topic, this game was in my top 10. All right. Full disclosure. This game was in my top 10. And then when it's like, oh, Mike Rice can't make it, I've got Mike Guigliano. Well, guess what? It's my number 1. I'm going to put him on the spot. I'm going to throw him under the bus. I don't care. Dude, I think it's great. I'm excited. It sucks because that was a IDW game, right?
Yep.
It sucks what happened to IDW. I get it. It happens. I mean, it hit them before it hit other, because we've seen just in the last 3 months, we've seen a lot of smaller game companies,
Yep.
Fold because of the things, just stuff happening.
Sure.
But dude, City Under Siege, I'm excited to play it. I say that as just somebody that's like, look, man, like Mike, I call you my friend, but I will also just say I'm a fan of you. And I know you hate it.
I appreciate it.
I know you, and I know that makes you uncomfortable, but I'm gonna just say I'm a fan of you, and I want to play your game. And I'm gonna put you on the spot. I'm gonna say it to you. I'm gonna say it to you on camera. I'm a fan of you. I'm a fan of you as a person. I want to play your game. I want to talk about your game. So Gotham City Under Siege. Let me say it right. Co-designed with you and Richard Lanius. And the thing that got me is when you told me that story, because you laid out that whole story, dude. And I was like, that's amazing to me. Like, I love inside baseball. Like, I love shop talk. Like when we talk about games. And that's the thing I like to do with our show, right? Is it's one thing to be like X, Y, and Z are coming out, right? But if I can just provide even just like a tiny bit of insight without betraying the trust of people that have shared information with us, right? Like if I can just give a little bit, of inside baseball and some shop talk. But let me be fair to Mike real quick. He was reluctant to share that. It wasn't like he led with that. It wasn't like, oh, hey, I designed this game. Like we were talking a lot and we eventually came around to that, so it wasn't like he led with that. Let me be perfectly fair to Mike. But dude, listen, man, I talk about games. I talk about what I like about games and what I don't like about games. I have not made a game. You have made a game. You have put yourself out there. You work with a game company. You produce games. You know what I mean? You find games. You put your name on stuff. And you say, I say this is good. From a game company's perspective. I'm just a YouTuber. I can say whatever I want. You know what I mean? I might lose a sub here or there. Maybe I gain a few for being controversial. But like your reputation is legit on the line, when you put your name on something.
Sure. Yep.
Mad respect, dude. Mad respect. Dying to play your game. Super excited about it. And let's be real. Ginger says, is that the one with the bad rule book?
No, the rule book has its flaws, and I won't throw anybody.
I thought that was Gotham City Chronicles, but I could be wrong.
Not Chronicle. I think it was the Arkham Asylum one, the one that was like a deck of cards with a giant box.
Okay.
I think it was that one.
Okay.
I don't think Chronicles. I think Chronicles was good because that was Mythic, wasn't it?
Yeah, Mythic.
Wait for me tomorrow, DeVito. Our staff meeting, man.
Yeah, sorry guys.
You're so fucked.
Sorry guys. I apologize for that. But listen.
No, you don't.
I respect Mike like massively.
Thank you.
And again, I got nothing to gain from this. I was so excited. Like when Mike, you don't know this, but when we walked away from that conversation, I was like, that dude worked with Richard Lanius. I saw that Kickstarter. It's before I was into the game hobby, before I was in the board game hobby, I was going to Comic-Cons because I'm a movie nerd, movie buff. Right. So I'm meeting actors, writers, directors, and things like that I'm excited about, right? I go to horror cons. I go to Comic-Con in Chicago. They called it Wizard World. We called it Comic-Con because it was. So like, I'm the guy that walks up to Michael Jai White, who was in Spawn, but he also made Black Dynamite.
Yeah.
Which is Black Dynamite's one of my all-time favorite movies. I'm the only white guy walks up to Michael Jai White. Nobody else that looks like me, I'm just gonna say, is in his line. I walk up to him and I'm like, dude, I just want to tell you I love Black Dynamite. Like, it's one of my favorite movies. I think you're amazing. I think you're hilarious. I love everything you do. And he looked so surprised. It was just like, uh, thank you. Nice, super nice dude, right? But like, I'm just saying, I will go out of my way to tell people, holy shit, dude, what you do, I love. Thank you for that. So, Mike, thank you for that, man. I haven't played your game yet.
Yeah, you haven't even played it yet. It
No,
could
I
be
don't give a
shite.
shit. I'm excited, man. Bring it on, man. Dude, I think it's great. But the other thing though, right? Let me just put this out there while I'm singing your praises. Not only did you not lead with that, because I've met people that's like, well, I've designed blah blah blah.
Sure.
I'm not gonna name names. But I will say I've met people that I like, and it's like, yeah, I get it. Like, sure, they did design that, and that's awesome. But dude, you're one of the good guys, you know.
Thanks.
Good guy. You didn't I wouldn't have known. I could have talked to you for 20 minutes and if my line of questioning hadn't brought it around to that,
right,
you wouldn't have brought it up.
Yeah.
You're not leading with it. You're not bringing it up.
If I ever get to that point, I'm out of the industry. I don't want to be in it anymore.
Oh, dude, I'd give you so much shit. Like, I would say that you and I have developed a relationship, and I don't even know you as well as I would like to. I would give you so much shit that, you know, hopefully we would deflate that and bring you back down.
No. I mean, it's a personal thing for me. I think if I ever got to that level where I was leading in a conversation with, I design a game and I would remove myself from the industry, because it's what I dislike about a lot of the industry comes from that smugness, right? That level of look at me, or this is what I've done. I don't like that stuff. So I try and practice what I preach, and I don't appreciate that. And if I ever got to that level, I would just remove myself, because I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that guy. You know what I mean?
Right. And I hate that crap in people in general. To be honest, Mike. Like, yeah.
There's always someone better than you, right? You're not the best. I don't care if you're Michael Jordan. I don't care who you are. There's always, well, maybe Michael Jordan, but there's always somebody better than you, right? You're not the best at what you do. So like, be humble, because there's always better.
Right. Well, I mean, and no dig on you, right, Mike? But like, your co-designer, Richard Lanius, no offense, for at least for now, that's the name,
Sure.
right? But for me, it's like, no, this dude worked with a guy that I love, and not just a guy that I love, but this is a guy that I love that I know also is an awesome dude. You know, my brother-in-law has an amazing Richard Lanius story, and I love hearing that, because there's nothing that hurts me more than when you hear a story about an actor or an athlete that you like admire, and then you hear about them being an asshole to somebody.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, dude, why?
Chevy Chase.
Yeah, dude. Like, why? He's so funny. Why do you have to be a turd?
I know. Yeah, if I ever get to that level, I'm fucked. So
yeah,
and so if I need a ghost designer, I'll let you know.
But yeah, Paul, dude, bring up your game, man. We need to. You are a self-publisher. Listen, you're not.
Yeah.
No offense, Paul. No offense, Mike. You're not Eric Lang.
Sure.
You know, you guys need the promotion. You guys need the publicity.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we just met through chat, but join the Discord. I have a QSCon Discord. You can self-promote there. I have the Game Design Guild. You can come promote there and talk about game design and bounce ideas off people. Like, there's a bunch of shit other than the 3WS stuff that I do and the convention thing. There are other things going on. So please find me and talk about your shit. I want to hear about it.
Yeah, and the thing is, though, right, is that the designers and the dudes that I love and the guys that I love talking to, I mean, the people that I gravitate towards and want to bring in my circle and want to talk to and promote are not the guys that are like, yeah, my shit doesn't stink.
Sure.
You know, like, not interested.
Nope.
Not interested. If I ever found out, for example, like that Eric Lang was like that, and no, I have not seen anything that tells me that he is. But if I had a bad con experience, man, that would break my heart.
Sure.
I have not. I met him once at a con. He was super nice. That was pre Blood Rage.
Yeah.
But it was being promoted at that con. I met him. He was super cool, very humble, very kind.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
it's true. Like last year, I played cockroach poker with him. Like there were 4 of us in a room playing cockroach poker, and he's a genuine human being. Like I like him. He's not that crazy. He's not that.
That's all I need. That is all I need.
Dude.
Right. You know, and you get to do things like the gathering, you know, like that's not nothing, man. That's not nothing.
I said it when I was on the show the first time, and you were asking about my history, my experience, and I did it with Tabletop Submarine and on Danielle's podcast. Like I'm very aware, and I feel very lucky to be where I am in the short amount of time that I've been in the industry, and to be able to do the things and go to the things and play in this world. I'm lucky. I'm very lucky.
No, it's awesome, man. It's awesome. And honestly, Mike, you have put yourself in a position you deserve it.
Thank you.
You know, so don't doubt that.
I'm still getting there.
Don't doubt that. I think that anybody worth their salt has a fair amount of imposter syndrome, you know, where it's like, what? Really? I mean, I feel like that even if we got 10 people watching the show.
Sure.
You know, if we get 5 views on a video, I'm like, why does anybody I don't know watch these videos? So I totally get it, dude. I totally get it.
I appreciate it, Tim. I do.
Yeah,
he admitted he cheated, and it wasn't on purpose. He didn't do it on purpose. He was telling me a story. He played XCOM with him, and something happened where he knocked stuff off the table and then put stuff back. And then when they realized that they did really well, Eric was like, "Yeah, I probably just cheated."
Yeah,
but he's also a fun first kind of guy, right? Like he's not. He wants to have fun with the people that he's playing games with, regardless of if it's Dice Miner or Cockroach Poker or Blood Rage. Like he just wants to have fun with the people that he's playing games with.
Dude, that's the whole thing, right? I don't listen. You and I can sit down at a game. We're gonna play a game, Mike. It's gonna happen. Spoiler alert.
Well, and we are at Origins. We're playing like all the games.
I'm playing to win. Okay, playing to win. But really, honestly, what I am doing is playing to have a good time and hang out with you.
Sure.
If I win, even better.
Gravy. Yep.
Right. And that's what I love. I've only heard similar stories about Eric Lang. And I love that. Right. Like, please don't break my heart with Eric Lang. I love that dude. I love him as a designer. I think he, by all accounts, seems like an amazing dude. The 45 seconds that I have spent with him in real life seems super cool. But yeah, man.
He's a good dude.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about it, right? Like 98% of the industry, they're genuine human beings because we're in an industry that's very inviting, right? It's invasive. Like, come and be in my space for a long period of time. You have to have some level of fun and of caring and you know, you have to be a certain caliber of person to kind of be in this.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, there you go.
Agreed. And you know, and the thing is, right, is that yes, there are going to be some people that are wired that they need to win. They need to play the best turn. And that's fine too. I get it, man. I'll sit down and I will play that game with you and I will be competitive. And hopefully I beat you.
Right.
You know.
But those people that are like diehard, like not in for the fun, in for the win kind of thing, that's great. That's your type of game. Go play those games with other people that appreciate that.
Right.
I'm not gonna I'll play a game with you, but when I realize like it's just not clicking, like it was a great time and thanks for letting me learn that I don't want to play a game with you ever again. Like you can be a champion in the industry, you can be fostering all the love about board games, but like from a game perspective, I don't want to play a game with you. Like, I'd rather play Happy Salmon than play Terraforming Mars. Like, I get more out of one than the other, and you might not be that person, and that's fine because there's 4,000 games published a year. So, like, go find your home, and I'll find mine, and we'll be fine.
Right. And also, spoiler alert, we could play Happy Salmon 4 times and still play another game and have just as good a time as you did playing Terraforming Mars.
For sure.
And we played 5 games in the time that it took you to play 1. So,
100%.
you know.
Well, that goes to Chris's question. Would you rather play 4 30-minute games or 1 4-hour or 2-hour game? 4 30-minute games. What's the math there? 2 hour. 1 2-hour game or 4 30-minute games?
I mean, it depends. It depends on the company.
Sure.
You know, I mean, honestly, dude, I have played long games of Game of Thrones that I still talk about to this day because of the crucial moments where people backstabbed each other or like, oh, you wouldn't believe this happened. It was so tense. And I've also played, 3-4 hour games where I'm like,
wow, not even buffered. They booted him. He's that bad. Wow. So Bob, yeah, pick your game. What's your 2-hour game while we're talking about it? Wow, I can't believe they booted him from the stream. That's hysterical. I don't know if that's, maybe you guys know in the chat because you've been watching them longer. Is that a first? Like, not only is he buffering, but like it just died on him, because that's amazing if this is the first time that happened. And yes, it has officially happened. 3 hours and 15 minutes in, which is Syracuse's area code. That's crazy. Yeah, Bob, pick your game. What 2-hour game would you play instead? And I can't pull any of these comments up on the thing, so I apologize for not having control. I'm slowly taking over, so it'll happen at some point. I don't care about the recognition at all. When I see a group playing my game, laughing, not pulling them. What's your game? I want to know what your game is. I don't know what your game is. Please tell me. I'd love to play Anachrony. Yeah, Anachrony. Okay. Is that 2 hours, though? I feel like that's more than 2 hours. Yes, and Dan, you're right. Something is wrong in the world if I have this stable internet, because that's not normal at all. No teach, 2 hours of Anachrony. Okay. Oh, this isn't the first he's gotten? All right. That's fine. Yeah, and I'm learning not to trust him in Game of Thrones. Yeah, please come share in the Discord. Just find the CuseCon Discord, or I'll post it in the Board Game Rundown Discord and just hop over there. There's 2. We have the CuseCon Discord, which will be all things CuseCon and general and whatever. But then there's actually a game design guild, and there's resources and game chat, like design chat. I don't know where you're from, but we meet every Sunday locally and test other people's games. I get some 3WS stuff tested. Other local designers are trying to just get feedback on their stuff. So there's a lot going on that end as well. Working on getting back in. Yeah, well, take your time. Don't worry about it. I have more drinks to do. The backstabbing. You can't take the backstabbing person. So what I might have talked about this on one of the other shows on one of the other times I was here, but Twilight Imperium, I played for 11 and a half hours, and it didn't feel like 11 and a half hours. And although most of that was just game and okay, and it didn't feel like 11 and a half, the culminating moment of that backstabbery that happened to win the game was so epic that it's one of the, like Tim was talking about, like the moments that happen in between those long games. Sure, if they happen, great. And if you're okay with sitting there for 4 hours and playing Battlestar Galactica and trying to figure out who Cylons are, you're getting what you want from that game. And I think if people know that going in, it's great. Those long games can really be beneficial and impactful. But if someone's gonna play, for example, Terraforming Mars and not realize they're going to be sitting there and just get trolled by someone who knows what they're doing, or playing Battlestar Galactica and not understanding they're going to be there for 4 hours and they could be in an airlock and like not be able to do anything like that, that's going to be an awful experience. So as long as they know they're getting into, I guess that works too. Hey, buddy.
Hold on a second. Working on it.